Jordan was brought to me through a mutual friend in Connecticut, another artist that I knew over the years. Just me being a fan of music in general, period. You know what I'm saying? When I first heard Jordan's music, it grabbed me within the first 5 seconds.
Into this?
Yeah.
My name is Jordan Meyer.
Jordan, everybody!
All right, Jordan Meyer, singer, songwriter, producer.
I am from Enfield, Connecticut. I am a self-produced singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist, audio engineer.
What do you think your purpose is here?
My purpose in life has always been and will always be to create music and be in the moment of creating music. And I want my legacy to be someone who devoted their whole life to the art of music.
Doing this down here, right?
Yeah. What are some of the things that you say that you've sacrificed in order to make that dream work?
What do you mean?
I mean, do you think that you had to give up anything that some normal people have in normal life in order to make that dream happen?
At first I couldn't think of a reason, but then I said to myself, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people take all the necessary steps to have a stable life.
Mm-hmm.
I did the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna drop out of high school. I'm not gonna go to college. I'm gonna get arrested a few times. I'm gonna get in some trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I did all of that because I believed that I would be able to pave the way for myself using my talent in music. So I sacrificed the security of a set paycheck just by going to school and getting a degree and being an accountant.
Yeah.
But instead I tattooed myself and stretched my ears out and look like a crazy person because that's my artistry, So that's the only way I can really describe a sacrifice is that fear of never knowing when the next dollar is going to come is the life that I asked for.
For sure.
But I wouldn't have it any other way. That is it.
For
Music.
Sure.
Music.
And what do you think is one of the most important things you learned along the way?
The most important thing I learned along the way. Even when you can't stop telling yourself you're not good enough, when you're depressed and you're insecure and you just don't envision the goal ever coming, you have to push through that and you have to keep telling yourself that you do have what it takes. Because the people who make it in whatever industry they're trying to make it in, they're the small percentage that never stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Against all odds, my depression, my alcoholism, whatever, it's a constant battle. I might fight it the rest of my life, but that's the difference. I'll be fighting it.
Yeah. Still trying.
I won't just be getting swept up.
Trying people.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So you just got to keep pushing no matter how hard it gets. You have to believe in yourself.
Last question. What do you think of Samson and the Tourage podcast?
I naturally like it. It's you. It's comfortable. The vibes are very natural and artsy. I like the way it feels when I'm in here. It's not pretentious and overly dressed. It's not a sty. It's clean. It's nice. And I've felt very comfortable, not only in your space, but I've been comfortable opening up to you and telling you about my story, and I would suggest anyone take the opportunity to sit down with you and talk about life for a little while.
Jordan Myers.
My brother.
Thank you very much for coming.
There's no S on my last name. It's just
Jordan Myers. Sorry, I naturally had the S.
For like 2 decades, and you still can't pronounce my
I still can't do it, no. Do you even know my first name?
Samson.
Nope.
No, wait. No, that was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew?
That's the other one in the town.
Steven?
Yes.
All right.
There you go.
You're Samson. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
But I got it, though. It took a couple tries.
It's weird. It's been something that's stuck, and then, I fuck Steve. Steve is my stepfather, right? I hate Steve. I'm not a Steve. I don't care.
Hopefully your stepfather doesn't see this podcast.
I don't care if he sees it. In the house, when my mom and them are bickering, right? When she yells, Steven, that's for me. When she yells, Steve, which is always being yelled, that's for him. So if I tell people Steven, they'll just start calling me Steve, and that'll just drive me fucking crazy. It's Samson.
Yeah, there's too many Steves in this world.
So.
But there's not enough Jordans, though.
Not enough Jordans, not at all. Not enough redhead Jordans.
Only on the beard.
Yeah.
Only on the beard.
That's funny.
It's brown up top. Here.
What's your nationality?
Well, there's a few things. It's funny, I'm a singer, but I'm not speaking into the mic. German, Italian, Portuguese.
Yeah.
And then some other shit that I don't know.
Yeah. I have, once in a while, I'll get some orange hairs in my beard. I think it's the German, maybe. I don't know.
People always think I'm Irish. I'm not.
No.
They're like, you're a ginger. And I'm like, I'm not a ginger.
Yeah, you're really not.
I like ginger like the root, but as far as my nationality, I have nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're related to your nationality? Is there anything about the way you carry out your life on a day-to-day that is more German or Irish? Or you're not even Irish, but German?
I mean, I guess every now and then if I'm eating sauerkraut, I might feel a little German. I don't know how to answer that question. I don't wake up in the morning like, holy shit, it's going to be an Italian day.
That's what I'm saying. That's like, but then some of the happiest people I know, they're foreigners that came to this country. They'll be the only ones outside on a Sunday, spending the whole day with all of their extended family, and they're doing they're cooking that kind of food, and they're tied to it, right? They wake up and something about their day is a little bit like that, you know? And
ours is like, FaceTime me.
Yeah, I shut FaceTime off my phone. Fuck that. I don't want people FaceTiming me.
You don't like it?
I don't like it at all. I like my privacy.
I don't even like being called. I'm not even laughing. As soon as I get a phone call, I could love you. It could be someone I love deeply, and I am just angered. And when I answer the phone, they can even tell. They're like, oh, I'm sorry to call. I'm like, why couldn't you just send me a text?
You think that's anxiety, or you think it's because that's your private time and you want to be left alone? Yeah.
I'm this guy on the phone. Like I hate feeling stuck. So when, like, some of the people in my life will talk my ear off for 3 hours, and I just don't. I don't want to do that. Yeah.
It might not even be that you don't want to do it. It's just like when shit's kind of not right and everything else going on. It's, I don't know. When I was really depressed, one of the things that I would hate is that I'd have some best friends that I'd get on the phone with, and let's say we were talking about my depression. And they'd be like, oh, like, what do you have to be depressed about? You have all these good things, right? To he who knows, no explanation is needed, and to he who doesn't, none will suffice. And when you are just dealing with more shit than most people are used to dealing with on their day-to-day basis, a bleak conversation could feel like too much sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I isolate, especially in a depressive state. I want nothing to do with people, even family, friends. Like, I'm very, very to myself. I don't really like to talk to anyone. I just kind of hibernate and hopefully be creative at that same time. Some of the best creations I've ever made were amidst a panic attack or severe depression, which is...
Do you feel like they're tied together? Like great art and great suffering is almost like something that's gone hand in hand with your creativity, or?
I have suffered so much throughout my life, mostly late teenage years, all the way till now. Mental illness has a way of kind of cultivating and growing. It's not something that goes away. So, wait, what was your original question?
Like if you feel like your creative process is tied to it.
Absolutely. So, despite my suffering, and this is where I was going, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't not be bipolar or have chronic panic attacks or anxiety, because I know that some of the greatest artists throughout time have had all the very same struggles that I've had. So I've accepted that as this is the price you pay to be able to do what you love with all your heart and soul at a really high level all the time. Just always trying to. I just want to be the best at what I do, and that is what kind of pushes me through.
Like when you're creating, right? So the Tourage circle is all about the flow state, right? There's this whole practice in Japanese art that's the Enzo circle. So it's like the more in the moment you are, and if you're making a circle, you're creating something. So the more in the moment you are, the better the circle will be. And I feel like for a lot of creatives, myself included, that all we're really trying to do is get to those circles and be in the moment with something. So when we're creating, the nice part about that is we're jumping into our preferred version of flow state.
Yeah.
And a lot of like the rest of dealing with the world is kind of difficult because it's not in flow state. And, you know, like why would you want to put up with that? But have you created something? Have you been in a good period? Like where panic attacks weren't coming or something, or when life was just good and still also at the same time created something amazing?
Bipolar has highs and lows.
Mm-hmm.
During the highs, it's like a drug.
Yeah.
I can't stop talking, can't stop creating or trying to brand and push my business.
Because I've seen you on.
Yeah.
You know? But it's not bad, but I've seen you on.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you're toned down today. But you started by explaining that you're like non-social and shit like that. I've seen you turned on where like no one doesn't want to be talking to you in the room. Yeah. And you also are happy to engage them all. And then, but like...
I'm kind of the comedian.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, you definitely are. You have everyone cracking up.
I have such opposites, and you never know if you're going to get the crazy Jordan or there's some people that think I'm a very shy person. And it's like I am. But it's also people that know me can laugh at that at the same time.
Yeah.
You're not shy. You're like...
Yeah.
It's all about where I'm at, the surroundings, the energy of all the people in the room.
Yeah.
If I'm vibing and I'm comfortable... The real, you know, the real me comes out, I guess you could say.
Yeah, there was even a time in the past that I hit you up when I was feeling a certain way. Like, there are definitely parts of myself that I think are awesome parts that I don't really see unless I'm a little fucked up. And when I say that, I don't mean necessarily like gone fucked up, but I just mean it's not me sober. And I'd never liked that because, so then I started harboring this natural like self-hate deep inside me because like, dude, are you really saying like you can't be the person that you want to be unless you're fucked up, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a serious conversation that comes into play for any, like I think I'm in the 10% that's naturally predisposed to being an addict. So my journey of drug discipline and like how to use what when is going to be a long one. But for me personally, this is not advice to anyone, but for me personally, I don't believe it's a all or nothing one. I believe I'm going to get to a point where I'm in my 50s or 60s where I thoroughly enjoy that one glass of whiskey or 2 glasses of wine. And
I
a
wish
few
I
hit.
could do that. But
Me
I
too,
can't.
for sure.
I can't.
I'm in the stages where I can practice only doing a little, but I'm also still at that point where if I surround myself with the wrong people, I can't say no. And it's not a bandwagon thing or a peer pressure thing. I think it's this deep-rooted thing that I want to fulfill everyone's expectations. So,
But you can't.
But you can't.
People, places, things.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we learn in rehab is you got to change the people that you're hanging around with.
Mm-hmm.
If you are trying to live a clean life, but you're still hanging out with Joe Smo, the cocaine addict, you know, I mean, like it's not going to be good for you to hang around with him.
Not at all. You know, so we were talking before we turned on the cameras and everything. We both have done some grooming, if you will, with people in our lives and the places and the things in our lives,
you
right?
have to. As you grow, you start condensing your circle to have more quality in your life, more quality around you. If you don't bring me a sense of spiritual satisfaction, I mean, it's not going to be, oh, fuck this guy. I won't be rude to you if I see you at Target, but there's just certain people throughout the years that you're okay with letting them out of that inner circle. And a Facebook like here or there or a comment, it that works for me. And it's nothing against you, not you, the person who could be under this umbrella, but I'm not as social anymore. Since I got sober, it has definitely changed the dynamic of my entire life, clearly. And I had to realize, like, wow, you're sober now, but you don't even know how to be in public. And then I realized, holy shit, drinking kind of was my personality, because you wouldn't find me, I was never sober. I might not have been completely hammered, but alcohol was something that entered my bloodstream from the minute I woke up till the minute I passed out, and most likely blacked out as well, you know? So when I had to reacclimate myself to the world sober, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
And it still is. Not always, but it requires so much maintenance to start developing a comforting life where you're not relying on your drug of choice. You know?
I know that feeling from, and that was the experience I went through on Klonopins. But was the, like, yeah, and it just also made me feel like I couldn't even go outside after. You know, I felt like I didn't want to leave my place. And the only reason why I think I made it was because like I was telling you, I went online, looked up benzo withdrawals, and I saw a bunch of other people saying the same way that I was feeling and stuff like that. But it's, I mean, that's where, you know, they say it's a sobering feeling. It's like once you realize that about you as a person, it's like, Jesus Christ, I've been here for 31 years on this fucking planet sculpting this thing. Like XYZ became an issue around the same time that my brain was finally cementing and growing fully formed, right? Your brain doesn't stop growing until your late 20s. So when you start fucking around with shit in your early teens through your 20s.
Is that a real statistic?
That's not a stat, that's biology, yeah.
Your brain stops growing?
Yeah, your brain, just like your jaw, don't stop growing until you're a little over 18, you know.
I think my brain's still growing. I don't know.
It probably is.
He said it.
Well, no. Growing in the sense of actual reaching its physical final mass.
Yeah.
And then, the rewiring and exploration of everything inside the brain, that's different. That's always evolving.
You know what's crazy? The brain is kind of like a flash drive or a hard drive. Mm-hmm. My question is, a hard drive has a set amount of gigabytes. Does our brains max out at a certain amount of information where we can't store certain memories anymore?
I don't think so, because I think our brain ties us to something else. I don't think so, but because I think everything you ever go through is in there somewhere, even when you're on dementia. Yeah.
Like the beat I made for you.
Exactly.
You're like, dude, remember this? I'm like, I can hear that it's something I would do. You're like, you were drunk. And I'm like, oh, well, that's a shock.
And I was on mushrooms, and I was.
You were on mushrooms.
Yeah, and I was probably a little. I think you should read up on it, but I think microdosing, it can actually be huge for you, because like with the sledding example we were saying before, when you go through some substance shit and you realize that, like you were saying, you thought drinking was your personality. All what was really happening is your personality was going down that area, right? And
my insecurities were washed away. Mm-hmm. So I'd walk into a bar a little quiet if I hadn't drank yet. Have that first beer. Oh, how you doing? Have that second beer. Oh, what's up, man? 10 beers. like, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. And the contrast when you go back to a sober life is like, I have to it's almost like physical therapy for your mental. It's like, whenever I'm in rehab, because I've kind of been in and out of them since I was younger, that month in that place is pretty much a never-ending panic attack. Like, I'm constantly at the counselor's office, like, check my pulse. Like, coming off of alcohol and drugs, it's like the sheet gets pulled out from underneath you, and you have to retrain yourself to be social. I have good days and I have bad days, and the good days are awesome. The bad days suck. I've been depressed I haven't even talked to anyone about this publicly. Usually I am pretty open and transparent online. I haven't said anything about this until today, but the last 2 or 3 months have been one of the most intense lows that I've been going through over the last 10 years. Last summer was so fast-paced. I was traveling. I was doing performances all over the country, teaching classes to students, and just so much changed overnight with the virus and stuff. So that could be a coincidence. The onset of my depressive low.
It could be, but the facts are the facts. You're someone that's normally, your speed on the inside is faster than most people's, just like mine is faster than most people's. Yeah. But yours, I think, is probably even a little bit faster than mine. So if you're not moving at the same rate that your speed is on the inside, then you're like a pressure cooker. You start suppressing shit. So a lot of the depression and the bad feelings end up coming. This is why we were talking about exercise before. Exercise does so much for me because it's a moment in the day that I get to be going at the speed that I'm normally going at. You know what I mean?
And I agree. Exercise has been great for me, but consistency is my issue. I'll go obsessively hard for a few months, and then I don't know what happens that derails me. The last time was because the gyms were shut down because of the virus. Yeah. It's probably the first time I can have an excuse for not going to the gym, but even like just doing body weight exercises at home, that has been up and down. So I told you I bought a mountain bike. I'm hoping that becomes a good, healthy hobby for me.
That'll become a good hobby. Because you get to be moving you get to be in a flow state, and you get to be moving at the rate that you're growing on the inside. Yeah. Like, I had to start running because working out in my own house wouldn't do it for me. Here's something I don't like about myself, but I've realized, so I sculpted into my world. I like going to the gym, and the same way I say that the second there's a nice booty in the room, I'll be able to lift like 20 more pounds. And
we talking about like a girl's ass?
Yeah, right? Just the simple fact that there's a pretty girl in the room, or just the simple fact that there are people in the room that are watching me do this thing. My deep down rooted thing of needing to fulfill everyone's expectations makes me work harder and hold myself accountable to the other people in the room.
I can see that.
So but that's just a natural human thing because we evolved in tribes. Like, we just don't live like how we evolved anymore. We live very shut off from everybody. But the way that life is supposed to be is meaningful people around us that we're trying to fulfill their expectations because we all matter together.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of the PTSD stuff. It's not necessarily that some of these soldiers, they're real cases of traumatic, fucked up shit happening and them seeing it.
Yeah.
But when you see the numbers for PTSD in the military, a lot of those numbers are reflective of people that never saw anything bad. And this book, Tribe, goes into it, where
that's weird.
Intense depression after going away in the army and then coming back. But when's the last time that you had 6 people around you that you live together, you eat together, you sleep together? And maybe Jordan and I don't get along in this group, but when we're out there, like, I need to do my job looking this way, and he needs to do this job looking that way, or else we both die, right? So they go from this community to no community because you're back in affluent America. And now this bullshit ass cashier is giving you a hard time, and Memorial Day is just a day everyone gets to take off, not one that they actually are people, not for everybody, but that are people, and there's no more community. And back in the day when a tribe was a tribe and there was like, yo, there's this other tribe coming, the warriors go and they fight. Those warriors see some fucked up shit, you know, they're chopping off heads and everything like that. But when they come back, they're entered in back with a community that says, we know what you just sacrificed, and you did it so we could all stay alive, and we're so thankful. And they share the burden of grief with you, and then you get better. But people aren't sharing those burdens anymore.
It's because the world is moving in a very strange direction. You know?
Yeah. Here, pull this towards you.
Sorry.
All good.
Yeah, no, the world is changing rapidly for the better and for the worse. There's definitely a conscious shift that's necessary, but looking at a soldier like a monster, I can't agree with that.
I don't either.
A lot of that, well, my best friend in the world was killed in Iraq, so obviously this is a very personal topic to me. But a soldier's a hero, but people only adhere to the government and their agenda, so then they just shit all over the young men and older men, whoever involved in combat. So fuck them, just because the people in power might have a motive.
Yeah.
Probably do, but I don't like to go too far into politics or conspiracies or anything like that. But
although they're definitely at work.
there's some stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's not really a topic I brush on too much. I'm more of a musician that is an advocate for mental health and addiction, and I'm a father and comedian, writer.
Yeah, you're a lot of things, bro. I haven't met as many people as talented as you.
Thanks, man.
Aside
it's
from
mostly
a friend.
just musical.
Yeah.
Other than music,
I'd say comedy's one as well.
Yeah.
And music goes in many directions because it goes on the director and producer look. And what you're doing when you work with someone in a booth, there's a reason why people pay a certain amount of money for you. They're not just getting a nice mic that could be turned on and some, decent production. They're getting many years of someone that's had relationships with people, regardless of where you're at in your life, and realized, how do I sculpt this talent to sound the best in that box and on this beat? Or maybe they should pick it up to here and this is vocal training, this is producing, this is directing, this is communication.
I do it all. When I have a client in the studio, I want them to have the true experience of working with a producer.
Yeah.
A lot of studios will just hit record. You like that? No? All right, cool. No input.
Yeah, you're not like that at all.
Even though the guy behind the glass could be like, oh, that wasn't very good, but if he likes it, no, fuck that.
You're always trying to make them the best.
I have to. Even if it means come out of the vocal booth, sit down, we gotta talk.
Yeah. I've seen you do that to someone before.
I do it.
Yeah.
It's like a coach going out to the pitcher's mound.
For sure.
Something's not working. Something's not working. What do we got to do to change it?
For sure.
And in my line of work, my name is on it. Oh, who did this? Jordan Meyer. Oh, well, this isn't a very good song. So I have to withhold a certain level of integrity. Obviously, my own music is most important to me, and the way that I pay the way and afford my life and the mortgage and the kids and all that stuff is by producing other artists. But I still put the same passion into their music as I would my own.
For sure.
So I expect them to take it seriously. So if I say, hey, bro, come on out. They're like, what's up? It's good, man. The chorus, it's not good. And there's two responses to this.
Okay.
Oh, shit. all right. Like, they're like, wow, that was blunt.
Yeah,
Because the guys that they've recorded with before
Never told
were just
them.
like, yeah, man, all right, that's good. Sounds good. Let's get the hell out of here. Nope. I'll be like the first 4 bars of your verse. Like, you were really onto something. Bars 5 through fucking 8, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the next section, I felt completely let down. So you have to rewrite this part of your verse so that it flows better with this part.
Yeah. Not
And
change who you are.
Not change who you are.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to change your lyrical ideas or whatever. I just need you to know. Well,
It's not matching.
You jammed too many syllables in right here, and it sounds like shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, sometimes they're like, no, man, I like it the way it is, and I'm like, all right, you hired me. In my mind, I'm like, well, that wasn't a good decision because this sounds like shit. Luckily, 97% of the artists that I work with, especially after like a session or two, are like, all right, now he knows what's good. So if he says it isn't good, it's not fucking good. We got to redo it. So
they listen because they want to get better. That's if hopefully they want to get better.
Even if they walk in the door with kind of an ego, like feeling themselves,
Which I'm sure a lot do.
They do. And they get humbled quickly when I point out the things that aren't good enough and take my guitar or my piano and add an element. This feels kind of thin. There's not enough going on. I mean, what do you mean? And I'm like, and I just start playing the piano, and they're like, oh, like, it's a new song. I'm like, I told you that. There wasn't enough going on. Or the opposite. Can I get all the individual files to this beat because there's no room for your voice? What do you mean there's no room for my voice? And then I explain to them in layman's terms, like, you have a sonic spectrum, and there has to be room for the voice in there.
Yeah.
Actually, there has to be room for everything. If you have an extremely heavy bass line and then a really punchy hard kick, you're gonna get distorting. It's not gonna sound good. So now all your low frequencies are already full. And then you get a male vocalist who has a rich tone.
Good, yeah.
Now you just have an explosion of low end sound. And these are the things that the people that come to my studio, most of them, they don't have a knowledge of that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, before we turn on the cameras, I told you, like the water example, I got that from you. And like when I talk about sound now, I know nothing like what you know, but I know enough to fill people in on, you got different levels of frequency and you're going to fill it up. And like you need to make them aware of that because I've heard professional albums, but the way that they put in the samples and the way that they filled up the beat, it's not appealing for their voice. And here, you're going to drop a lot of money when you make an album.
Sometimes I tell people, this beat just isn't right for your voice. I love this beat. Man, I killed it. You heard my bars, right? I'm like, no, you did a great job writing to it. But the timbre of your voice doesn't mesh with the timbre of all the components that make the beat.
Yeah.
It's very complex, and it takes many, many, many years to just hear what's wrong.
Yeah.
People play me a beat. They'll send me stuff all the time. And you know what? I actually do take the time. So if anyone that might be watching this podcast wants to have a professional producer listen to their song, I'll do it for free. You send it to me. I will write back, not a thumbs up, like, good song, man. I will actually sit down and break down everything that I heard. Even if half the things I said were over their head, I'm okay with that. Look it up. Educate yourself.
And I'm sure you like to do that, right? Because I think it's also a reflection of you get to be doing something at your speed.
Yeah. I like to keep things moving. It's funny, I charge hourly, but often I'm the one like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
Am I your therapist?
Yeah. You got to work.
We're just talking.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if that's what you want, cool. Like, it's $75 an hour. Lay on the couch. What do you want?
Yeah.
So
I feel
sometimes I am the very best kind of producer that you would want to work with because
Getting the most for the money.
I want to work.
Yeah.
I want to work. I want to tell you how to be better.
Mm-hmm.
I want, in 6 months, I want you to say, wow, you've taken me so far, and I've learned so much about the art of crafting music. I want the first 3 songs you recorded with me to be something we both laugh at in a year. Because when you work
How much better I got.
Yes. If I tell people, you take this seriously, you show up on time once a week, you're going to get better at what you do. Because I'm going to use my 25 years of music experience, actually I think it's more than that now, to help you as long as they don't have an ego.
Yeah.
Because if they have a big ego, it's going to clash.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not going to be like, dude, listen, you know who you're talking to right now? Like, start like mentioning my resume or whatever. That's not what I do. I just accept it. All right, this doesn't work. There isn't a good vibe here. And if they call to book another session, my hard drive crashed.
Yeah.
Or,
have you had to do that with a lot of people? Or as a whole, do you find most of them don't have ego like that? Depends on the kind of artist, huh?
It's ego and it's vibe, it's energy. If you come into my studio, the vibes are just, they're amazing. And everyone says it. It's very Zen, Buddhist. There's a lot of Buddhist decorations. And it's elegant, classy. We don't party. There's no drugs or alcohol allowed. It smells nice in there. It's a professional atmosphere. So if someone comes in with a bottle of liquor and a blunt roll, and I'm like, oh, well, you got to leave that outside.
Now, is that because, is that as much for you, and so you don't get caught up in that environment as it is for, or is it legit more like not about you and it's about them? Like, I don't think you should be fucked up while you're in here.
Selfishly, I must say it is mostly for me. If you want to stay sober, you have to remember people, places, and things. That's like all of them in one small 550 square foot studio.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally smelling the liquor on your breath when you approach me.
Yeah.
I'm watching the mental effects of what the alcohol is doing to them progressively, which sometimes can create ugly situations. When I'm like, oh, it's all right, time. And you got a hammered drunk guy who just wants to finish his verse. Now he's mad at me because I won't let him finish a verse. I'm like, if you want to buy another hour, that's cool. Otherwise, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And,
Yeah.
So I've had nothing but negative. When you're in a studio, you're there to make music.
Yeah.
Don't bring your friends. Like, that's great that they support you, but we don't need hang-around guys in the studio. Because what's happening when I'm trying to listen to what you're doing, I have your 2 friends behind me going through their Instagram feed, and I'm hearing videos.
I don't even like having people behind me. I realized as I got a little bit older that certain things would happen. Like I'd be in like a situation, and all of a sudden my adrenaline's at the point where it can make my legs shake, and I don't know why I feel this way. And then I realize, it's because there's a bunch of people behind me, and I can't look at them in this moment.
I am that to a T. Even in a restaurant, I have to take a seat facing the...
Every girlfriend I've ever had, and my parents and my brother and sister, when we go into a restaurant, they let me take the seat that faces the window. They already know. I'm going to ask them to get up and move if they don't.
We're the, what do they call it? The animal that's always on the lookout.
Yeah, I walk into the room at a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, you have to. And I'm the same way, even if I'm in line at the store. I guess I'm a little paranoid, but like someone will be behind me, especially when you can just feel. Yeah. You know when someone's like standing right behind you and you have to turn around and be like, dude, let me get some fucking space. Yeah. And I'm talking pre-COVID. I'm talking 3 summers ago. Real close. 7-Eleven. Yeah. Like, you just got some guy like, I'm like, dude, you need to back the fuck up. Get out of my face. So yeah, I'm like that too. I like to like know what's going on. So yeah, I like quiet, relaxed, focused, professional.
So will you set that expectation when people come into the room with you? Like, will you actually go out of your way to explain to them a little bit about how it is that you like to work? And because I could definitely see that there might be some people, like maybe some people need their friend in the room. It helps them. Maybe some people, you know, like I know, all right, so smoking weed makes me a much better cypher freestyle. It does not make me a better recording artist. My voice will get stuck up here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how I'm breathing. I'm not allowing my, and then there's a whole mic etiquette. You know, you need to learn how to say everything that you said with the same enthusiasm while you're spitting bars like this, right here or right here, and not moving. You still need to be animated so you could hear the anime, but you can't, you know, so I got to focus on that. I need to know that I'm not with the other, we've never actually done a song, but with the other producers where I've actually gone in and done a song, I've performed that song by myself in my room the way I want to hear it 25, 30 times before I'll ever do it in front of somebody else.
Yeah.
Not everyone's like that, though, you know, and I need to know that because there are some people that I've met before that could just, they don't have that paranoid, like, type of anxiety I get sometimes. They're just always naturally able to just jump into that, you know? Yeah. And I've tended to need either a little bit of substances or everything needs to be perfect in order for me to access it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a hard thing with creativity because you can't schedule in your passion time. Yeah. You know, it's only going to show up for you at certain periods.
Yeah.
So it gets difficult.
It's rough for me because my passion is also my job.
Mm-hmm.
When I say job, I'm mostly referring to owning and operating my recording studio. Do I wish I could spend less time with that and more time on my own music? Or just tour and do performing? Like, yeah, I would rather do that. So sometimes it's difficult when you're so overexposed to the musical environment.
Yeah.
Primarily for other people's music. Sometimes it's like, sometimes it takes away from when I should be focusing on my music. It's like, I've been staring at a computer screen for 12 hours.
Yeah.
How many more hours do I want to put into my own music? And then I go home, go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So last summer, before everything went to shit and I started getting really depressed, I wasn't recording at all last summer. I was just traveling and doing shows and things were great. I teach kids.
The shows you're
how to make
doing,
music.
It's for your music, right?
Correct.
And then, so like you as an artist, which genres would you put your music in for anyone that doesn't know you?
I usually just tell people I'm a soul singer.
Yeah.
You know, just soul. I don't like really to use the term R&B. Sometimes I do, like, so it's more relatable. Like, like what's soul? Like,
yeah.
I sing from the soul. I sing from the gut. I'm a very loud, powerful singer, and I just like soulful stuff. That's what I've always liked. I like 50s, 60s soul, like old school Al Green type
Word,
soul.
okay.
But I like more modern stuff like neo soul, and I also am completely obsessed with Mr. John Mayer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably my favorite artist.
I love him, which is hilarious because I'm always in the room with so many hip-hop cats, but I have no problem letting you know I love John Mayer. He's one of the most talented guitarists I've ever fucking seen play, and his voice he's able to do shit, and he's going on his own little journey too. I mean, the man went from making what everyone knows as John Mayer to like, fuck it, I'm gonna go on tour with the Grateful Dead and just do fucking jam shows with people.
After you've had 6 very successful albums, I guess, and you've toured the world 40 million times over, I guess it's time to start
growing in a different direction.
Yes, but the story, the Grateful Dead thing, that happened after John had a surgery on his vocal cords, and he.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He didn't think he was ever going to be able to sing ever again, so then he moved out to like the Midwest, out in the middle of nowhere, and had this just self-isolating kind of. I'm sure it was difficult. You're a touring singer-songwriter, and all of a sudden you have this it wasn't a note, it wasn't a vocal note, it was like something even worse. Something where some people never get back from it to be able to sing like they used to.
Damn.
So, in his little downtime, he, I guess, was listening to a lot of Grateful Dead. And he just was enamored by the musicality. And then he became like sort of obsessed with their music and I guess built a relationship with them, and the rest is history. I've watched some of the videos
I saw him
of
live.
him performing with them, and it's cool. I as an open-minded artist, I did dig back and listen to some Grateful Dead music. Unfortunately, it wasn't for me.
Not for you. Yeah.
I liked the stuff John was doing with them, but that's probably just it's
Like John. Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
it's John Mayer.
Yeah.
Those other guys are cool too.
Yeah,
right?
it's music though. It's got to be for you. You know, it's nothing
Yeah.
against the artist. Like I don't go and I don't play Grateful Dead in my car. I'll go to a Grateful Dead show and I'll have a great time that night. But I'm not, I'm not bumping Grateful Dead.
You're not bumping.
I couldn't tell you the names of their songs or anything like
Yeah.
that. You know, on a day to day, I listen to all music, but on a day to day, I'm more of like a hip hop, and I'll listen to a lot of jazz actually too. I love fucking jazz. And like the older, like Al Green type of era type of music.
Yeah.
I like that. But my pulse is hip hop, like because a lot of times that's just the speed I move at.
It's funny because you had said something along the lines of, I don't care if I'm in a room with a bunch of rap people, I'll admit I like John Mayer. I'm like to the extreme with that. People are like, oh, who's your favorite artist? Now, I produce for my clientele almost entirely hip-hop and occasionally like some R&B singers. But for the most part, I record rappers all day. And they're like, what do you listen to? And I'm like, everything but rap. And they're like, what? Because they like just I just played them beats for an hour, and they're like, those beats are hard as hell. How do you even?
Yeah.
I listened to it when I was younger. Now when I put it on, I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to be that guy at a stoplight with loud rap music. It's just not me anymore.
Yeah.
I can't really. I love to produce it. But I just grew out of it. Maybe it's because I hear it like too much because I record rappers all the time. But
yeah, it might be.
I have just moved in a completely different direction, and the new music I'm creating is kind of showing that too.
For sure, you hit a new level.
I'm pioneering in a direction of all live instruments. So that's why I love like John Mayer.
Yeah.
I've been listening to just like classic rock and just musical music with an instrument and a band.
So not much vocal, or do you still like vocals when in the music you listen to, like and lyrics?
Yeah, no, I don't listen to just instrumental music.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a singer.
Because I found like hip hop nowadays. I mean, the big part of the reason why I don't like most hip hop now is because I don't think the words mean anything. There's only a few artists that I like that I feel like are trying to achieve something with their platform and saying something that I care about. But for the most part, 90% of it, in my opinion, is bullshit and ego dripping, fucking holding stacks type of bullshit. I don't care about that at all.
Yeah.
I still love rap and hip hop, but I'm very, very opinionated and selective with who I decide to give my time to.
I think you just opened my mind to part of my reasons of being pushed away from hip-hop after so many years of listening to it and creating it and working with big-name artists in the hip-hop world. I think what really pushed me over the edge and kind of just washed my hands clean with consuming hip-hop, not just producing it, is the direction of where it's headed. Like, it's just not the same. The artists don't personify themselves the same.
Mumble rap is an actual category.
Yeah, I don't like the trappy rap stuff. I do make trap beats, and they are for sale.
But trap beats are fire.
Yeah,
but what
cool.
people decide to say on most trap beats is bullshit.
Yeah, and there's like 3 flows to pick from. What are we gonna go with, A, B, or C for this one? And it's like, all the flows sound the same. There's no variance.
Yeah.
Like back in the 90s, it was its own sound.
Yeah.
But not so cookie cutter.
For sure.
Like nowadays. Nowadays, one word is a hook.
You think that was tied to more of how sampling tended to be bigger back then? And because one of, like, my soul, when I say my soul is hip hop, like my pulse is on hip hop, it's these records that fill this shelf behind it that Nick samples that I love. I love that song that made that beat. This is why I love that beat, because it's got real instruments on it. It's got real other soul that's been used somewhere else on it. And do you think any of that has to do with everything going to a computer?
No, I don't.
No.
Most rappers obviously don't make their own beats. There's a few, but it's kind of rare.
Yeah.
They pick a beat out. If the beat they pick out, there's still people making beats with samples.
Yeah.
And there's still songs on the radio that are very successful and
sampled.
Utilized. So sampling isn't dead.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just the direction of it's the evolution of music. I'm wildly disappointed with music. I feel like I singled out hip hop. I really don't listen to any music that's been made in the last 10 years for the most part, except for John and a couple other artists. But music has lost all integrity. It's like music isn't decided. The music that gets to our ears didn't get there because someone was wildly talented. They got there because they built a really good platform on social media, or they were very attractive.
You're reading my mind for why I think it went awry. Yeah,
that's what happened. So I can't really sing all that good, but I got the auto-tuner, and I got a songwriter. If you're really attractive, and you have 34 million followers on Instagram, boom, all right, we'll work with you.
Yeah,
labels.
Well, you know the Black Keys, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they did a podcast with Rogan, and it's a great podcast because the whole thing just breaks down the current crisis of the music scene right now, and in all different types of music, but obviously they're going in their genre. And they were saying how just the way that it is now is that if you're trying to get signed with a major label and you have brilliant artists, soulful lyrics, great sound, no followers. Okay artist, 50,000 followers already, 17,000 followers already, even if it's not high, but 17 is way more than the average person who's I'm not trying to build, now I need to so consciously, okay, I want to get it out there, but I'm not doing it for the number, right? A lot of people build their Instagram or their following, their Twitter, and use that as leverage for the record label. And they're saying the way that it is now is that record label goes with that person. Because in a way, that the person who's got more followers is just showing them that they'll already have some, they believe already that they're going to get money back on this investment. Even though this one sounds better and makes better music aligned with their label, this one, because of that number, they take them and they fill them up.
I have literally life experience in the music industry to shed light on exactly what we're talking about. When I was maybe 26 years old.
How old are you now? 34.
But my industry age is 19. When I shave. How old are you? 14. So I, at one time, was managed by a guy named Ed Woods. He was a high-profile manager. He managed Usher, Kelly Rowland. He worked with Jay-Z for a little while. Ryan Leslie. He worked with a lot of big artists, managing big artist careers. And he was my manager for a while. And he marched me into Universal Records, which is, probably the biggest record company there is. So I went in there, high rise in New York City. I had my acoustic guitar over my back. I'm super nervous. And the A&Rs were like waiting for us, and then like this beautiful little
A lounge area.
like a live rehearsal sound room.
Okay.
So I pulled my guitar out and I sang maybe 3 songs and showed them a couple music videos. And what they said to me was basically along the lines of, if you weren't good or talented or anything like that, we would tell you straight up, like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for bringing him in, Ed, but this guy, you're not that good. They're not.
Yeah,
afraid
they don't
to say that.
sugarcoat it.
They looked me in my eyes and they said, it was like a big win and a big loss at the same time. They said, you are absolutely amazing. They're like, your vocal range, your songwriting, you're ridiculously talented, and I guarantee someday this is going to work out for you. And had you come from 10, 20 year ago era, you'd be huge. As of right now, your social media following just doesn't make sense for us as a business, because we no longer take nobodies and put budgets into them. They're just going to go on Instagram and find some 20-year-old kid who is a horrible rapper but has a huge engagement for whatever reason. I don't get it, but I try not to be a hater. When I was young, I'd be like, fuck you. I'm like, no, I respect it. I think you suck, but you obviously have work ethic to get to where you're at.
Well, most of them use bots to get a certain number of fake followers and fake likes to create a facade. And because they have that facade, people go to their page and see 10,000 followers. Oh, I'll follow them too. But it's weird. It's like when people see that social proof, even if it's fake, they're more willing to engage with you than if it wasn't there. So you could be way better and only have 2,000 followers, and someone won't follow you, but they would have if they saw 15,000.
Exactly. And here's the best thing, and you can check this out, and listeners can check this out too. Just to show you how fake and phony people are in social media to purvey that facade, like you were just talking about. You'll see someone with 137,000 followers and
500 likes.
Each photo gets 1,100 likes and a lot of comments, and I'm sitting here and I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, I'm like a little jealous because it's just every artist. There's
look at the accounts that throw up the emojis. They're fake accounts.
They're fake. So what I like to do, this is my method to see what's really going on, is just go to their Spotify and see their monthly listeners. And it's it's laughable. There will be people that seem like, oh, I think this guy's famous. Let's go to his Spotify. Oh, 12 monthly listeners. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's how cheesy and lame the industry has got. It's just smoke and mirrors. Like, oh, cool. He looks like he's doing well.
But so here's like, let's say I was going to be like, I wanted to be a famous rapper.
Yeah.
Here's like the flip side to that. So you hear Jordan talk about this on the podcast, and you're like, well, fuck, I still want to get signed to a label. Now you're in a moral quandary where it's like, do I know that if I could get a meeting with Universal next year, do I try to go out of my way and try to build up the social media and whatever now, or do I just keep?
If you can build yourself up big enough for a label to want you, and again, well, you know this, but maybe people listening don't. I was signed to a big record deal. You know what I mean? And I don't think I would ever do it again. You know what I mean? I it's very constricting. There's only what they do nowadays is a 360 deal. So they
own you.
Yeah, they're not just getting 30% of your album sales. They're getting 30% of your merchandise. They're getting 30%
Dude,
of
fuck that.
If you do a commercial,
fuck that.
It's crazy, right? You do
fuck
a commercial with McDonald's, like, ooh, the new Big Mac. Mm-hmm. They get 30% of that. All endorsements, any income that you accrue at all, they get at least 30%. And then industry level management, like a manager that really knows what he's doing and has a track record, they get at least 30%. Someone who's like upcoming manager might say 20. So now you have 30 for the label for everything, and then 30 to your manager.
And how much are they actually doing for you?
If you already have a platform, you've done it all for them.
Yeah.
But you want to be like, I got signed. Like,
Yeah.
I remember getting signed.
And there's some doors that open up, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
But you did everything. So
I did.
So the only doors that normally people get opened up for them is here's this dope guitarist or here's this dope producer, right? So they couldn't really give you too much. Or did you get some good stuff out of it? Like
out of the deal?
Yeah.
You know, for a long time, I said, no, it was a waste of time. It was a waste of money with the lawyers and all the contracts. But then I settled into this, you know, everything happens for a reason. I certainly, like, because of that situation, you know, I was signed to Mobb Deep, their label. It enabled me to, you know, make my presence known a little easier.
Yeah.
Like, oh, who are you? Oh, I'm Jordan Meyer. Oh, what do you do? I'm a singer-songwriter, and I produce my own music. I got signed to Mobb Deep. So, like, in, like, the urban music world, hip-hop, R&B, they're like...
Yeah, that's something. Yeah.
Can you prove this? I'm like, yeah. There's a video. We're in the studio.
Yeah.
And,
so it helped a little bit build the price. You need to take it?
I don't. It threw my mind off.
No worries. Well, let's stick on that. The water needs to be replaced so we get AC. I can tell we're both getting a little hot.
You said the water needs to be replaced?
Oh, no, it's good. Just wanted to open up the door for the AC.
I didn't understand how water has anything to do.
It's a stationary unit in the house,
Yeah.
so it collects the water that would normally be dripped outside, so sometimes it shuts off if...
You have to empty the tank?
No, it's actually good. I just had to open the door.
But generally speaking, you have to empty a tank?
Every 12 hours.
All right, because I have a portable AC, and it self-evaporates all the liquid.
Yeah, this is combined with a dehumidifier. That's why.
Mine does dehumidifying too.
Oh, well, maybe it's just older.
Self-evaporating. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so cool. I'm going to smoke a cigarette and take a hit of the pen. That's cool, right?
Yeah. But you want to smoke outside? Cigarette outside?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. We'll go outside. So the kind of music you're making now, right? If let's say best case scenario, you project what Jordan Meyer, what the next 5 years could look like, that what you could be working on and what you could get out of it. You already know you need to move in order to maintain some good mental health. See, I don't want to be on tour, but I feel like you could actually probably function pretty well if you had shows set up.
Actually, unfortunately, I would be on a national tour. I'd be on a tour bus right now if COVID hadn't come. The whole tour was already set. The venue contract.
And you
signed,
were.
everything.
It was all about you.
No, it was me and a group of friends
Dope.
who promote, you know, healthy living and sobriety and stuff like that. So,
Word. Okay.
we're at 250,000 streams on Spotify now. So.
Hey, imagine if you saw 250,000 people in front of you. You know, we're over here talking about numbers and getting signed and shit like that, but at the end of the day, like, what? Anywhere between 200 and 400 people will look at my story. If 200 and 400 people were in a room, that's a lot of people, right? Like, yeah, if you're doing it to make a difference, it's already happening, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I try to do everything I do for the right reasons. But to tackle your question, you know, where I see myself next, I'm moving in a direction where I want to release a full-length album, all live music.
Word.
Real drums, real bass, real guitars. So that's...
Is that part of the reason why you got the expensive mic?
Well, I upgraded my entire studio and got much higher-end gear. Yes, a lot of it was to record instruments and make better recordings for myself. But I also wanted to give my clientele, you know, a really nice experience and just an incredible product.
Yeah.
The sound quality coming out of, by the way, it's no longer Jordan Meyer Productions. We are now The Recording Parlor.
Mm-hmm.
We are in Windsor, Connecticut.
Yeah, shout it out. How do they find it?
I'm on Instagram as The Recording Parlor, spelled.
The Recording Parlor.
And then, so that's the only social media platform I'm using right now. But if you have any inquiries, it's The Recording Parlor at gmail.com.
Word.
Or just hit me up, Jordan Meyer Music. I'm everywhere with my music. So.
And is that easy to do? Like, so you're talking about the journey that you're going on and other people are going on, but at some point they need to get their shit on Apple and Spotify. Is that a difficult thing?
Not at all.
Right.
It's very easy. Anyone can do it. You can do it in a day. You can, if you had a song right now, you could have it on iTunes and Spotify within a week from right now.
Word. Okay. Is there a vetting process after they like vet your account? No.
No, you could literally be the worst singer in the entire world and release your album on iTunes.
Yeah, iTunes just gets flooded with trash, right? A bunch of people.
People will say to me, I saw you on iTunes. That's crazy. Yeah. And I'm like, no, it's really not. They're like, you're so humble. And I'm like, no. Listen. I am pretty humble.
Yeah.
But any random asshole can put music out.
Yeah.
There's multiple services now that deliver to the stores, and it's like a yearly membership. I use a service called Distrokid.
Okay.
You go to distrokid.com. They have 3 different profile options. The cheapest one's $20.
Word.
Next one's $40. I do that one. You can have your own record label name, and you can have like more functionality than you do with the $20. Either way, $20 or $40 a year, you can release unlimited amounts of music.
Word.
You upload the artwork for the album, publish, boom. It delivers it to like 160 stores.
Okay.
That tells us there's a whole lot of services nobody even knows about.
Yeah.
Because we only know the main ones,
For sure.
But there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So you get like an app and a breakdown of how all the numbers look, and it's pretty cool once you start making money off of your music. That's a really, really cool feeling. It might not be a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly isn't a lot for me.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful of the growth. I'm grateful to get a couple $100 a month on my DistroKid account. You know what I mean?
So what would that equate to? And a couple $100 means how many plays?
It's a shitload of streams to get.
See,
so every
the musicians are getting robbed.
Bad. So if this tiger's eye stone.
Yes, sir.
Let's say this is a penny.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I just listened to your new song. I just scratched off a piece of the penny. Your next song, scratch it. I mean, just keep every stream is a fraction of a cent.
That is insane.
So if you make a couple $100 in a month,
you're doing pretty well.
You're streaming a lot of shit.
Yeah, but so you're not eating yet. So hence the hard, long journey.
Yeah,
right?
The shows come from. The money comes mostly from shows. Performing, because that's where you get at least $1,000 to do a set.
Yeah.
So that's a night of work. Plus then you go check out your merchandise
sales,
table, whoever's running it, and you say how are we doing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that night you only sold 4 shirts, but that's at 30 a shirt. It's $120.
Yeah.
Maybe you played in a city where you have a bigger fan base than you did at the last stop. And you sold 20 shirts, 20 times 30, plus ticket splits at the door, plus your overall, whatever you're getting paid to perform.
Yeah.
So,
which that's a good, even if you were to look at it as a few shows a week, that's a nice income.
A few shows a week is a very good place to start. It's difficult though. Yeah. Because when you first start doing this, you're gonna have to do a lot of shows
for free. Yeah.
Who are you? I'm so-and-so. No one's heard of me. Okay?
Yeah.
You can, we'll let you open up for this person, but you ain't getting shit.
Yeah.
What do you do? Yeah. You're okay. You gotta get exposure. You gotta start out.
Yeah.
You know.
And so do you find that like when you do shows, it's that much more thrilling for you because you're not just a vocalist, you're a musician, so you enjoy playing instruments? Like when you get up on stage, do you ever feel like, fuck, I'm working, or are you happy to play?
It's nothing like, everything else is the work. That's the reward.
Yeah.
That's the payout.
Yep.
Spiritually.
Yeah.
And financially. So it's cool, the
Yeah.
duality there. But it's funny, when I have a performance coming, I'm always very, very nervous. Very nervous. Like trying to talk myself out of it nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what excuse can I come up with? But then I do this thing to myself now. I have this place in my brain that, like, sends me this message. It's like, dude, this is who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do this.
Yeah.
Or you're going to spend your whole fucking life ignoring what you're good at because you're a little nervous and insecure. That's what I do to myself. Do I sing good enough? Do I sound good enough? I don't know. I practiced earlier today and I like the sound of my... I'm going to look so skinny and pale on stage. Like, that's what I do to myself. I try to... There's this self-defeating signal in my brain that's like, but now I have this new thing. That's the thing that's allowed me to be here today. It's the thing that's allowed me to perform last summer in front of thousands of people. It's this voice that reminds me of all the years I've ruined and wasted in my blur of alcoholism. So now, no matter how nervous I am, I push myself there. Because years ago, I would just have a few drinks. Don't care. When do I go on? Let's go. Now I got to do it sober.
Yeah.
And like I told you, that process, I had to reacclimate myself with how to be social and how to mingle and how to have a little small talk. I don't like small talk. I'm very bad at it. I like as soon as there's like a pause in talking, I'm like what do we do now?
Yeah.
Quite often, my anxiety just makes me go, see ya. Like, gotta go over there now.
Yeah.
Leaving people behind. He's an asshole. No, I'm not an asshole. I was just kind of bugging out for a little bit. And then I'll always go backstage. I don't talk to anyone. Like, I'll hide. If someone comes up to me, I'm like, I'm getting hit. I'm like about to go on. Get the fuck away from me. And I'll always walk out on stage like, oh my God. People say that they don't see it the way I do, so that's good.
I feel the same way.
People aren't like you might have been nervous, or one of my friends says, you don't come across as I'm freaking out. Sometimes you seem a little shy to people until they get to know the crazy Jordan. And then they're like, what the hell? He's actually crazy. He was shy at first, and now he's wild. But I get on stage, I start strumming, and my picking hand's a little tight, my fingers are a little tight, and it's fun. I was just rehearsing in the green room, and my fingers were good, and everything was good. And then that energy of the audience completely, you're under that light, and it's so much different than when you were just in the studio or at home playing and practicing. But as soon as I let that first note come out of my mouth, that first maybe a little shaky note that comes out, once I push through that, my entire purpose on this universe is immediately obvious.
Yeah, you get into the state. You get into your flow state.
People tell me that one of the reasons they love my performances so much is because the passion is very evident. I go somewhere else. I can't really put to words, can't delineate the experience as an artist of performing, but as soon as I start singing, the fear is completely gone. To the point where I get off stage, so proud of myself. So proud
Yeah,
of
I'm
myself.
like a high, yeah.
And not in an ego way, like, yeah, I just killed that. Just proud of myself after so many years of isolating and suffering to put myself out there, regardless of all my insecurities or whatever's holding me back. So if you're someone who has something that you love to do, but there's this fear holding you back, just train your brain. And that signal I was talking about that like zaps you and says, no, you have to do this because you'll hate yourself.
If you don't.
When I'm old and gray and I'm on my deathbed, I do not want to look back.
Not at all.
And realize I wasted all of my talents that I've been working on since the age of 5.
I couldn't agree with what you said more. In both how you feel from the performance aspect and that, looking back on life one day, I've seen what happens to people that look back with that kind of regret. That's why, like, before we turn on the cameras, I was just saying, I don't care what actually ends up happening, right? If I die tomorrow, I want to be comfortable with the way I lived my last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
I want to be happy that I did what, my talents are telling me to do. I was slowly getting better at it, but I can't not do that. And living a life that was not doing it, even with the money, was not fulfilling at all. If some people could do that, but if I'd kept doing that, I would have just blown my brains out at some point.
You would have hated your life. Yeah, I don't do jobs, 9 to 5 jobs. I don't punch clocks. If I do get a job, I am literally fired or quit. Like, I've been fired on the 3rd day. Like, sorry, kid. Like, you're not moving enough. And I'm that's cool. Do I get to leave now? Yeah, you can go home. Was he happy about being fired? I think he seemed like he was happy. So, hate jobs. They make me sick to my stomach. Even when I get home from work, that long-awaited, punch out, I'm already sick to my stomach knowing I have to do it again the next day.
Same here.
You know what I mean?
Your Sunday will be ruined because Monday.
The weekend
you only have Saturday.
Exist.
Yeah,
you
that's
only
it.
have Saturday.
That is literally it. That's
you
literally
got Saturday. But Saturday is Sunday's neighbor. So you don't even have...
you got shitty fucking neighbors. And half of Friday more than half of Friday was already taken up.
You're sitting there like, it's Saturday. People are like, it's good, it's Saturday. Yeah, but tomorrow's Sunday. That's the day before work.
Yeah.
So I had to be self-employed.
Yep.
I had to be self-employed, and I had to figure out how to make this thing work. And you said you've seen people that live in a place of regret. And it's funny because I'm defying that obstacle and that opposition against me to really do what I love and let the world hear my voice and this and that. But I'm also already sort of living in that regret because I'm 34 now. And if I had gotten my shit together and I wasn't binge drinking for that entire decade, how much further would I be? I was in the room with all the right people, but I just couldn't get it together.
For sure, but that's not going to help your today.
It's not,
And here's the deal. People think when they put all their eggs in one basket and the basket don't work out, that they don't still have all their eggs. You already know. You still got all your eggs. You're still very talented and all that. If you could do it before, then you could definitely do it again. And something about human beings means that wisdom starts coming with age.
Yes.
Thankfully, some of them, like Griselda, that rap group, they're gangster rap, but they're the only kind of gangster rap I like now. But one of the most beautiful things about Griselda is they all blew in their late 30s.
Yeah.
The showing, and this is just bars,
so
no chords.
Maybe I should do gangster rap?
No, but it's not impossible to blow. A lot of my favorite people that are become well-known, at least that I look up to and that I like their craft and I like them as people. Yeah. They've worked hard for a long time, and shit don't start really coming through until they're 40.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like I've never really tried because I have short bursts of motivation. And now I'm trying to train myself to keep the motivation going because you need momentum.
Yeah.
But depression and anxiety love to get in the way of momentum.
Oh, yeah.
So I just need to keep going and going. And I have to ignite that fire and just keep it moving. And I'm in a better place now to be an artist, even if it's difficult, even if I'm nervous every time I have to do performances or interviews or anything like that, or just be around a lot of people when I'm feeling it. I know that I have to push through all that. That's something that's happening up here. My health is okay. At least my last physical said that. So there isn't any reason why this impending doom in my brain is actually, a real tangible physical thing. So once you can get through that mental blockage like I have about a year ago, now I'm ready for whatever comes my way, because I know I have what it takes to do this, and I have to do it.
Yeah.
I have to do it. And another thing I want to address that you said, you've used the term blow up, you'll never hear me be like, oh, I can't wait till I blow up.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to blow up. Like, that's like something I would have said when I was in my 20s. Now, I just want a nice, solid following. Maybe like a cult-like following that goes to all my shows and just it doesn't have to be, I don't have to sell out Madison Square Garden. That's not the goal. I mean, if that happened, sure, let's do it. Awesome. I'm hugely successful. But there's a lot of artists that have a huge following, sell out small to medium-sized venues, tour the world, perform 4 nights a week, 5 nights a week, well into 6 figures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
A year.
Yeah.
If I can get into the 6-figure range, it's funny, moguls, business people. 6 figures, wow.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to me,
the happiest people in the world in America make between 70 and 80 and have jobs that interact with people on a regular basis.
Okay.
And they tend to be moving around and not sitting all day.
Yeah.
That's what the biggest study that they've done to show the happiest people, that's where they fall. And why around 70 to 80? Because just enough to know that you've worked hard enough to make the money, but you're not drowning. You could save a little bit, invest a little bit, go on vacation a little bit.
I want money before I want fame.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids. I have a home, a mortgage. I have a studio to pay for. And honestly, it's tough.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy on Instagram showing off money or anything like that. I'll be very open that I struggle. Yeah. I don't have a lot of money. After all my stuff that I need to pay for is paid for, there's not much left over. And what is left over is usually kicked to the side to be invested into right back into this. Yeah, yeah. But I want to travel. I want to see the world. I get depressed because I feel like there's so much life I'll never get to live, and I do hope that working hard musically will earn me the money to be able to travel and have nice things, but also travel while singing, and then you're doing both at the same time.
Fuck yeah.
So this is a funny way I like to describe the level of success that I want for my music career. I want to be able to go out to eat without everyone taking pictures.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? I don't want to get bum rushed at a breakfast restaurant with my kids. But I want one guy to walk by on the way out and be like, love your music. Maybe 5 people. Yeah. If we have a maximum capacity in a said restaurant of about 100 people, I'll take 7 of them. Yeah. Can I get a quick signature? Cool. But I wouldn't want Bieber hopping out of the limousine. That would never be for me.
Oh, and he's probably fucked because of that.
Oh, yeah. I would never want that, huge pop stardom. Yeah. I'm moving in a direction of maturity, both as an individual and as an artist. But as an artist, I am just maturing my sound and just having more reasonable expectations for the kind of response I want and the target audience. Yeah. I want the people that listen to my music to be music lovers. I want people that if they come to hear me sing, I'm not singing over them because they're loud or there's a bunch of drunk people or in bars, places like that. I want to perform in decent, medium-sized venues, but that are classy cabaret. People are sitting and just looking at me and just taking it in.
Yeah.
Those are the best performances for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens, and it's cool. It's amazing when you have this loud room full of people, and as soon as your voice cuts through the PA speakers, everyone is just, just watching and listening. And that eerie quietness in between a chord, if I stop a chord or stop singing for a second to be dynamic before I go into the next part of the song, and it's like quiet, that's cool.
Yeah.
I have their attention. And this thing that I created, this art that I made, is just like filling this room right now, and everyone in here is digesting it, and they can see and feel and sense the authenticity in my music, because I'm a lyricist, I don't like to write watered down. Let's just make a song. I could write 10 songs a day if I was just like, you broke my heart. I'm going back to the start. I'm so sad. Really.
Yeah.
My songs are metaphor, and they're gathered from real things that's happened to my life. All of them. Even if it was, some of my songs are like based on a true story, and then there's a little novelty kind of. I dress it up and change a couple things about it, but every one of my songs is derived from something that I've experienced or lived through.
Yeah. So it needs to be a more meaningful audience, or at least for you to feel good about it.
I want music lovers. Yeah.
And I feel you on listen, if you need 70 or 80 to be comfortable, then the fact of the matter is, if you're doing anything creative, it's going to take a while to get to 70 and 80 and 100.
That's true.
It's going to take a while. So being creative with it is it's important. But if you love it, it's a safe bet. So even if you are signing up to struggle for 5 or 10 years, at least when you're doing it, you're not going to hate yourself when you're 80.
Yeah.
Because you actually did try, and it's something that you like to do.
I mean, hell, the bills are paid now. So anything, if I can just do a little better as time goes on, that's cool. I'm at least grateful that I don't have to go do one of those job things normal folks do. People are like, screw this kid, I love my job. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Where would you rather be?
You know how I don't even have a big following. Like, I get way more listens on the other platforms than I do YouTube, but I don't even have a big following. And the number one thing when random people and people I know and randos reach out to me is talking about how they hate their job.
Yeah.
And because I'm so open about how I was killing me to be in that position. It was
I would
killing
rather
me.
die than work a job. Even if the job was $35.72 an hour, I would hate it.
And that still ain't shit.
That ain't shit.
That's 50 G's a year. That's nothing. Because, I went from 150 to 43, and 43 is drowning in Boston. You can't, like I was saying, I started fasting to fucking save money, not because of the health benefits. Those are just added benefit.
I'm good at saving money for about a week.
Yeah.
It's my savings account. I'm saving, doing well. Next week, shit. I need to buy this for the studio. Yeah. Guess I'm going to go into my savings again. Yeah. I go through these spurts of really, really good at money. I'm good at money. I'm like, all right, wow, I got a few $1,000s in the bank. I'm comfortable. That's like when you're lower middle class. Right? I got $3,000 in the bank right now. I'm ready for anything. The furnace shits the bed. I'll have
I'll be good.
Half the money I need. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm with you there. And financial stress is one that's deeply, like, one of my deepest memories of my childhood is the day I got off the bus and the foreclosure sign is up in the front lawn. Yeah. Being a little kid watching the world fall down like that, the water being shut off after you take a shit, you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Right? But it also instilled a different type of work ethic in me. I mean, I was hustling Pokemon cards in my front yard because I wanted a new bike and realized Pokemon cards are stupid. Selling whatever I can. I had several paper routes, right? You have a paper route when you were a kid?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I did. I did.
I thought you told me you did once.
Yeah, I did. It wasn't the Anyone,
The Reminder?
Anyone
No.
not from our area is not going to know.
Journal
It
Inquirer?
wasn't the Journal Inquirer. It was the Reminder.
Yep.
They would drop off like 5 piles of them all bundled up. There's like probably 4,000 papers.
Yeah.
And I had this little hand truck to roll them around, and I would take the hand truck and throw all the papers in the river. Yep. I was probably 13, 14.
Yeah.
Right from the start, jobs weren't for me. I think I delivered them like once, and then I was like, that was a lot of walking.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I hid some under the porch of my mom, because she's like, did you deliver the papers? Because you have a job now. I'm like, yeah, I delivered them under the fucking porch. And for a while, I was just collecting my check to buy like pegs for my BMX bike, whatever I bought back then.
Yeah.
Gushers or something.
Yeah, Warheads.
Or what's the sticks? Airheads.
Airheads.
Those. So that's where I got my airhead money. But I did well in this illegal enterprise for a while because no one wants that fucking paper.
yeah.
So
No one cares that it
there
doesn't
wasn't
show
many
up.
calls like, "Where's my reminder this week? I need something to throw out angrily at the end of my."
Yeah, J.I. was different. I had to every 2 weeks go up with a fucking book to certain people. Some people paid online. Certain people I had to like, here's your tabs.
Here's your tabs.
You need to pay me for
tabs.
this. But that was good though, because I got tipped, and tips were never part of the equation. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get tips and a reminder.
Not.
You know what I did get? Angry people.
Yeah.
And now I'm an angry person that owns a house. When I see that thing on my drive, I'm like, get it off. Because then it rains and it turns into like a paper mache liquid.
Yeah. At least make the bag airtight.
Or just don't deliver
Yeah,
it. Because no one in the whole entire town wants it.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, you should really flip through there. There's a 5% off coupon for the car wash in town.
No. Maybe if I randomly need something cheap, I'd look in classifieds, but that's not in the reminder either.
That was my first job, though.
How old are you?
About 13, 14.
Were you already making music?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
I started making music when I was 5.
Yeah. So what was the first instrument for you?
Keyboard.
Okay.
And it was an accident. It wasn't like...
How so?
It wasn't like, Mom, I want a keyboard. It was like my grandfather had a keyboard because he took, like, lessons.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an old man organ lessons. It's like a room full of old man organ sounds.
Yeah. Smell
And,
like cigars.
It smelled like old men. So anyways,
There is a smell.
there was a smell.
Yeah, it's called dying.
It was an organy death smell.
But yeah, so what, you
So
keyboard?
He bought a keyboard. And when he first got the keyboard, it was like, it's my keyboard. Get the hell away. It's mine. And then he got like this big freaking organ. I guess he thought he graduated to being he went from a little Yamaha 3-octave keyboard to like this like thing took up the whole room. I'm like, that's a legitimate organ, sir. Turns out he really wasn't that good, but he would sit there and he would like do his like lessons, his sheet music, playing, fairly simple pieces of music, and I would go in there when he was doing it, and I would sit next to him because he still had the keyboard next to it. That was his studio, and I had 2 little. And this is just my earliest memory. I would play the keyboard along with what he was playing, just like by ear. I would sit down and I would be playing along with him, and that was like the first. That was the first indicator to my family that
You got something.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Most people can't do that. Off sound?
No, they can't. Most of them can't. So I was instantly like, just the sound coming out of the speaker when I just the way the way the sound is connected to my hands and the way my hands are connected to things that are going on in my brain. There was just this. I mean, I've always had anxiety and depression. Even when it's sad to think now about, like when I was 5, 6, 7, and I think back now, I realized I was very sad and depressed, and scared and insecure, and I had all these issues, but I didn't have an intellectual perception of what I was feeling.
Yeah.
You know what
You're
I'm
just
saying?
a kid. You don't even have enough experience to know about what you're feeling.
I just didn't know. I just felt my stomach was always real nervous, and I was just really kind of a messed up kid. You know what I mean? But when I put my hands on that keyboard, it was like on stage when I go someplace else, and I was just like enamored. Like, wow, this is really cool. So I kept playing that, and I started writing songs. When I was really little.
So, like, how old are we talking?
I wrote my first song when I was
Sheet
7.
music song? Or, like, lyrics? Are you writing the sheet music?
I wrote down the lyrics to the song. As far as sheet music, I don't still now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Do you know how to play it?
I am a professional level guitar player, drummer.
Yeah, I've seen
everything I do is, I would say, you know, that guy's a
professional.
real musician, but I cannot tell you what. Like, I'll be playing with other musicians. Like, what key is this song in? And I'm like, 7. They're like, no, it's a letter. I'm like, oh, Z. They're like, that's not one either. I'm like, it's this.
Yeah.
These are the chords. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, I think that's E flat. Yeah, E flat, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't. I went to freaking music school and had no idea what was going on. Like, when I was in the school band, I played trumpet, and the band teacher would walk around. Where's your sheet music? Because I always had a stand in front of me without sheet music. I'm like, I already memorized the fucking songs the second week we had them.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm like, I can't read the sheet music, but I already know the full concert. And he's like, okay. Sure enough, there I was. I was hitting all the right notes. I just heard the class play it a few times, stored it up here. I would even, this is funny, I would even, I would create my own one-man section in school bands. There's no lead trumpet players in
I love the trumpet. There should be more.
Bro, I was harmonizing notes that were not in the sheet music. Like, where is that high E coming from? It sounds lovely, but it's nowhere in the sheet music. That was me.
Word.
Blaring off my own. I'm like, you know what? Right here, I'm going up to that note. The kid next to me is looking over like, that's not the note. I'm like, I know exactly.
It sounds great though, right?
Freaking awesome though.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like, started with the keyboard, then I got a trumpet. I liked it. I don't think I ever loved it though. Then I got the drums, and then that was like, that was my first love. That was like an obsession. All day, every day, would like not hang out with friends. I would just go in my room, my basement drum room, and drum for hours, like hours. Literally, I would sit down and I'd drum for 4 hours. I'd be soaking wet. I'd be bleeding from my hands. Literally bleeding. My hands were bleeding. And I would have to tape them and then keep drumming until the tape ripped and the blood came through and it was just too painful. And I had to be like, all right, I guess I got to heal before I can drum again.
Yeah.
And then the guitar came.
Yeah.
But that was...
How old? About?
Well, the drums were like 10.
Okay.
And the trumpet was like 9.
Okay.
Guitar, funny. I'm a late bloomer. I didn't get my first guitar until I was 19 years old.
Oh, damn. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And I never even actually considered myself a guitar player until about the last year of my life. I swear to God. Like, if you heard me play guitar a few years ago and you're like not a musician, you'd be like, wow, you're really good at guitar. And like rhythmically, my picking hand was good because I'm a drummer. So like this and the way I sang with my guitar was kind of drummery, the way I was like kind of percussively syncopating things I was doing. But for the most part, I was using guitar as a way to get my song out.
Yeah.
That was just the instrument I chose to accompany myself on stage.
Got you.
Just piano. I don't know. I didn't want to be Elton John. Like
Yeah.
Playing piano and singing just isn't really my thing.
Yeah.
Am I being loud enough?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, you did this, and it made me feel like maybe when someone like touches their nose and that's them telling you.
I'll tell you to put it on. I'll tell you to get something off your face. That was me fixing my own shit.
All right, good. What were we talking about?
You're talking about, so why is it that in the last year, what changed?
Okay. So I never really gave guitar the time needed to become like a really good guitar player. I never fell in love with it like I did drums or like I did singing. I liked it. It was cool. It was a way for me to sing without relying on unreliable people. Trying to form bands in Connecticut, like no one like had the drive or probably the talent I did. It just didn't work. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna drum anymore. I'm just gonna sing instead. So I went from a drummer in punk rock bands to a singer. You know, so I just never really practiced the hell out of the guitar. Sometimes I would go several months without playing it at all. Like I just, when I was in an off period where I wasn't singing or performing, or which happened frequently, I wouldn't play guitar. And when I did perform, I had to like look down the whole time, like singing like this, because I just like had to. Even now, I'll look down when I'm doing something a little more complex, but for the most part, I'm able to like see the audience and like if it's like all right, I'm doing that really weird chord now, that really jazzy chord, and my finger. There's certain chords that like make you look like you got
a problem.
Like,
Gonna eat that.
Yeah, it's like it's
my strong hand.
I have to do this chord, so I got these chords, but over the last year and a half, I had to start doing a lot of performances. So I said to myself, you know what? You should probably get better at playing guitar. You got to do all these shows, and I wanted it to match my singing level. I didn't want to like just be like struggling. So I started practicing a lot. And whenever I throw myself into something
it's
musically,
addictive, hardcore.
It's addictive.
It's all you do.
And it happens rather quickly. If I start a new instrument tomorrow, an instrument I've never played, if I fall in love with it, I'm pretty sure within a year I'll be kind of good at it.
Yeah.
If I'm like, the cello's not really for me, I might be able to play something simple for you, but I have to love it.
Yeah.
I never loved guitar until about a year and a half ago. You know Brandon, right, Lemery?
Yeah.
So he had a American Stratocaster. He goes and buys like. He has to have the American Strat. Like, there's, like, the Mexi Strats. You can get those. There's Squire Strats.
So if anyone doesn't know about equipment at all, what level are we? This is highest level, right?
Well, it's a really, really
Good one.
beautiful guitar. It's made in America. It's a Stratocaster. I would say it's the most iconic guitar of all time.
Okay.
But it's sourced all in America with the best materials. And I'm a Strat guy. It's a single coil, chimey, like John Mayer kind of sound, like really bright, I love Strats. So I bought that guitar off of him because he realized he didn't need a professional level guitar. He just buys the best of everything. That's how Brandon is.
Virgo.
He had like one song. He had like one Nirvana song. He'd play it for like 50 minutes straight. Just like that guy in the corner. It's like, I know this song. But I was like, what are you doing with that Strat? He was like, nothing. Just sits in a box. I'm like, well, let me get the box. How much? So he sold me the guitar, and then, I don't know. Something happened. You
fell in love?
I was like, I can't even put this fucking thing down. And I fell in love. It's all like, I play every day still.
You think like part of, you said you're a late bloomer with getting a guitar, right? 19? Yeah. You think part of why it took longer for you to fall in love with the guitar is because you're also getting fucked up?
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I was.
Because one thing I know about me, I can't sit still if I'm not, if substances aren't involved and I'm not doing anything, I can't not do anything. So I go, if I'm not drinking, smoking, or whatever, then I must be doing something. And then it must be something I'm interested in. So then I just do that for many, many hours and nothing else matters.
Yeah.
But if I'm even something as simple as like smoking weed, like you're not doing nothing anymore, you're smoking weed. So that is what you're doing, you know? So like that could be the difference between me spending many hours learning something new, you know, that I'm uncomfortable with, or trying to fall in love with something new than, you know, normally.
Yeah, no, you need to have that spark
Yeah.
Like a full-fledged, heavy spark to catapult you in the direction you're trying to go. And I don't know, something happened, and I realized that oh my God, I'm completely in love with this instrument, because once I started flying around it a little more and understanding why this note connects to this note and how this scale is formed, and again, I don't know theory, so I don't actually know what the hell I'm doing.
But the connection in your brain takes hold.
Yeah. I just put my fingers around, and it sounds cool, sounds good.
Yeah.
I can like play and sing at the same time. I mean, I could always do that, but I can do more complex stuff on the guitar now.
Yeah, without looking down and just be singing.
Yeah. Stuff that's kind of a mind fuck, like off time weird picking patterns while singing. It takes a few times through, it'll be like, all right, holy shit, that's like hard to do, but then you get it. Yeah. So I love guitar now, and
so the studio album, 5 years, right? If you put together an album, maybe even sooner than 5 years.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be singing in a lot of guitar, but all live instruments?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, I'll mix some synths in there, some triggered, like some electronic drum sounds.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with like EDM. Like that. No, drum sounds that were on a computer, not with a stick and a real drum.
Yeah.
There's no rules. I just want my music to have more of an organic vibe than a lot of the music I've made over the last decade. I've left people kind of
with the wrong impression of you.
Yeah. People always mention me and like when they're talking about rappers and stuff, and I don't get that. I think it's because I've done a lot of features for rappers, and they'll be like, oh, I feel like they're like basically calling me a rapper, which I don't get, because I don't rap at all. I sing. So I want to have a more organic music to give, because those live instruments, there's just something about it. There's an essence that is captured with live music, live instruments, that you don't get from all computer-based stuff.
Agreed. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Feels different.
It's way different. It's human. It's real.
Yeah.
It's not ones and zeros.
Yeah, exactly.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real, authentic sound waves.
And it's like literally the first language. It's like, and I don't know about you, but certain beats, certain sounds, certain music, like, I'll hear it and the hair will stand up on my arms. What is that? Okay, there's something tied to how your emotional spectrum, your whole being, that is like, because in all other animals, their hair stands up on them. Why are they doing that? Because they're either fucking, like, they're about to kill or they're fucking about to protect themselves. But regardless, it's showing you like a level of like deep emotion. Something's going on to make your hair stand up. But I'll get more energy out of it. I could be tired, and all of a sudden I could be on a run and a song comes on and it's like I just started to run and I'm 7 miles in. You get something from that, and you get something from instruments, and when you hear that it matches up with your soul in some way.
Music is embedded into our DNA. If you think of it, there's actually some scientific backing here, but I'll start by saying, why does a baby laugh, smile, and dance to a song?
Exactly.
Instinctively. And the reason is music is embedded in our DNA. I read this really, really cool book. I wish I could remember the title. I'd suggest it, but I can do a little research and send it to you. And it was just basically talking about how we have evolved with music. Yeah. Human beings have been creating music for thousands of years. They used hollowed out logs and stuff they found in the frickin' jungle. And it was more of a percussive thing early on, but their vocals would, I guess, be the melodic part, even if it was just chants or like, stuff.
Hitting stuff, whatever.
Yeah. But music was born long, long before the era we live, the era before our era, the era
before the
that.
computers, yeah, and before
Long before.
yeah, long before it. And ceremony, right?
Yeah.
It was also joint, like you could argue that you go to a show, a festival, whatever, but that's like part of what we've been doing for thousands of years in groups of people. And like, dude, you could change the vibe of the entire room with music,
You can.
And sometimes I just need it. Like I'll be like when I do this podcast, I won't play anything in the background because I'm a stickler for audio. It pisses me off that AC's on in the background, but I'm not trying to sweat. But regardless, like when I do this, it'll be quiet. But most of the time, if I'm hanging out with people, I just kind of need that in the background to like for my internal frequency to balance with something, so I don't have those awkward pauses or whatever. It's like I could always fall back on the music.
It's the filler.
Yeah.
Want to hear something weird?
Yeah.
I shouldn't even admit this, but I don't actually listen to that much music.
No?
No.
Okay.
When I do listen to it, I told you the artists I listen to. I'll have little phases where I listen to a lot of music, but for the most part, like when I'm in the car, and this blows people away that are in the car with me, usually the radio's off. That's kind of my space to just have quiet. Because I'm sitting in front of speakers that are this far away from my head. I mean, like for countless hours throughout the week.
Yeah.
Whether it's my music or someone. And I have a studio at home. So I'll go home after working in the studio all day, tuck the kid in, and go to my home studio and have more speaker in my case. So I do need that. I do need that space of quiet. But I love listening to music. I just, as a consumer, I listen to other artists less because I'm just so preoccupied on my own music and all the people who pay me to ensure that they have really good music too. So it's just like, I need that meditative, the car is like my meditative quiet place.
We were talking about that before. There's not many places I feel as comfortable as I do in the driver's seat of my own vehicle. Yeah,
there's something really cool about just being in a car and being in the quiet. Especially I have a newer car now. Every car I've ever had before, this was like...
Like, you could do 80 and it doesn't really sound like anything.
You can do like over 80.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound
that Accord is great. I'll be $120 and if it's just no noise.
Yeah, no, it's
I like
cool.
to crack a window though because I do like to hear... I don't like to be completely separate.
Sometimes I don't even like that.
When
you're on the highway.
Well, if you're doing 100, you can't have that. Like that.
Yeah, no. So in my last two cars, over 100 was a very regular thing. Probably daily when I had WRXs. And,
I forgot.
I built them up, made them really fun, and that 140, 160, I saw all that. Now I got myself a Hyundai Sonata.
Yeah.
Great family car.
Great family car.
But it does have a turbo in it though. So,
it does?
Word. Oh yeah. It's got a turbo, so if I need to need to boogie,
it still picks up over,
Not quite like the WRX, but for a family car,
picks up well enough.
I'll see you at the red light, my friend.
I'm
ready to race.
Yeah.
I'm ready to race. But it's quiet.
Yeah.
All my cars before this were like catless, straight pipe exhaust. It's like sound like Dale Earnhardt Jr. was taking the turn around the last bank. Like
and an Enfield cop won't let you forget about that.
No. Enfield cops are really cool. No, they are cool. I mean, because
there's just too many of them.
I've always had good luck with them. Every time they pull me over. Actually, half the time they know who I am.
Yeah, that's probably why.
That might help.
Yeah.
I like your last song.
Yeah.
Here's a written warning. I'm like, you sure? I was going 200 in a 25. He's like, I know, but that Thankful song, me and my wife love it.
It's a good song.
Thanks, brother.
Dude, the last several songs you have dropped, honestly, and the amount of people I played them for too, that probably listen to your shit up in Boston now, like I'll be like, yo, I won't tell them it's my boy at first, right? I'll just let them listen. Like, this is good. They're like, this sounds like just top-notch level work that you would hear being dropped on the radio or whatever the medium is, whatever. But it's like you've gotten to a new level. Like, I feel like you were always good, but I really feel next level.
It's matured.
For sure.
It's just matured. What it really is
Mm-hmm.
is the sound that I sang in that song. My voice in that song probably sounds a little different in some of the tone of my voice. I'm like, I can like shape, I don't know how to describe this. A singer would get this. I can like shape things in my throat differently and sound like several different people. I know that's really weird. Kind of like how like a voice actor changes their voice for different.
Yeah.
Like
different people.
You'll talk to a guy who talks like this, and then all of a sudden he does SpongeBob's voice. You're like, that's you. He's like, yeah. I'm like that with music.
Okay.
I can do some hard rock singing. I could sing jazz. I could sing R&B, obviously, and soul. I can really sound however I want to sound. And I think I had an identity crisis over the years of what my sound even is. Mm-hmm. Imagine being able to I can sing rock pretty good. I can sing pop, and you can sing all these genres. And I was like, should I just have several songs in different genres? Shit, I can even sing country. Hilariously authentic sounding too. Like I do the accent and everything. I can just mimic what I hear, you know? So over the years, it was like, who are you though? And I'm releasing music, and I'm like, was that me? Like, I don't know. I just didn't know. Thankful was the first time I knew.
Okay.
Thankful was what I've been holding back. I think I wanted like a softer, more gentle voice. I wanted to be like smooth. Not to say I'm not smooth, but I wanted like a gentler voice, I think.
Yeah.
Thankful, I'm like, it's just coming from the gut the whole time. Yeah. It's soulful. Like
very soulful.
There's a little rasp. There's a little, but you can feel it. You know, you can feel the song, and that's me.
Yeah,
that's me. I'm a soul singer. I'm not a pop singer. I'm not a this singer. I mean, I can do all those other sounds when I have to or whatever, but for the most part, that's who I want to be. I want to be a soulful, songwriter and just make music that matters to me.
Yeah.
And feels truly and uniquely like me. You know? 'Cause trying to be something else or trying to make a song that you think is going to be successful, that's not a good game plan. It's got to come from your heart to truly resonate.
For sure.
At least in what I'm trying to do. If you're trying to make, garbage top 40 music and that's your goal, I mean, you might be able to do that. But I want people, like you said, I want people to come up to me when I'm done singing and say, my hairs on my neck were standing up.
Yeah.
Because that's the best. That's the best. That's when I know I've really connected with my listener.
Yeah.
You know?
And there are only one, I guess one would argue that no one could get that feeling if it hasn't given the artist that feeling first. Like if the artist is making a track that doesn't involve the depths of their soul, you're probably not going to hit the depths of anybody's soul with it.
Right. Like with that song, I just knew. I would say that I make 200 songs and one of them the world hears.
Damn.
And then there's 199 songs no one will ever hear except for the people that,
close to
or hang out in
whatever.
my studio or family or whatever. And some of those people will berate me like, dude,
put it out.
Like, that's a great song. I'm like, no, I hate it. Like, So that's something that I really need to work on and get over.
So you could just drop more.
Yeah. I don't always get as lucky as I did with like Thankful. It was, I knew it right away. I was just completely I had the shivers as soon as I laid down the guitar part, and then I started doing some electric piano, like a Fender Rhodes type of sound. Probably don't even know what that is, but if you heard it, you would.
Okay.
It was like the first electric piano, but it had this really crunchy, awesome, kind of soulful tone to it.
Okay.
So then I kind of played behind the guitar with those, and then I was already you can see me in my studio just completely exiting the room.
Yeah.
And then what really just I was like, oh shit. I pulled the bass out,
Mm-hmm.
and I started laying that bass line down, and all of a sudden that low end mixed in with all the, and it was just so creamy and delicious.
The
and
guitar, the regular electric guitar on that hits a different part of my soul as well. Your voice does too.
Yeah.
I hear something different in your voice in that.
Yeah.
Right, but that guitar, that electric guitar, I know nothing about this shit, but the electric guitar and that
That's the
ding,
strat.
ding, ding, okay, that's where my soul resides in music.
You're gonna love my album then, sir,
Good,
because there's a lot
good.
of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, this is also why I like John Mayer too, right? His guitar, that speaks to me in different ways.
And just in case John's listening right now, just no way. But even if he was, I will never be John Mayer at guitar. I can practice 14 hours a day until the day I die. He's a magician with that instrument, but it's inspiring.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like having something to keep me inspired when I myself am not enough.
Yeah.
When you are running out of inspiration from your own self, you need to seek outside
Exactly.
inspiration.
And that's why it can't be like a normal job when you're a creative, because there's months that you need to be seeking, and months you're learning, and then months that it pours out. But to jump back really quick on the releasing stuff, those 199, even if you hate it and there's something there, how much do you hate it? Because it doesn't represent you, or because you're nitpicking the shit out of it? Because, like, if you, for example, the very first podcast I ever did looks and sounds like shit. None of the equipment has changed, and they look so much better. But I needed to be okay with it, like, looking and sounding like shit, or else I would have never started. Right. So, like, it just keeps getting better. So yeah, number 200 is better and number 400 is way better. But, like, do you think, like, you probably already have enough to drop albums then? And then it's more mad because it's several years ago and I'm not that person anymore, so I really want that to represent me now.
Yeah, it's like, I'll open up a folder from 7 years ago. I'm like, you know what, that's a pretty good song, but I don't sound like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if I went in the booth, let's say I did one verse, and I go in to do the second verse, it's just not the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't really recreate that first verse again, because 7 years ago, our bodies are always changing.
For sure.
They're always changing. Like, you'll always, like, sound like you, but your tone's going to be different.
Yeah.
I could come back and do a podcast with this same setup in 2 months, and I might sound a little different.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be a little more or a little less congested. Maybe the humidity level will be different. Maybe, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But so have you ever tossed, even if you weren't going to go on tour with them or anything like that, have you ever just thought about just dropping them? Or you just want to move forward?
Dropping the records?
The old stuff.
It would have to be reinvented.
Yeah. And at that point, you're reworking on something that isn't you anymore anyway, so it's...
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe it was me.
Yeah.
Maybe I just wasn't ready for a certain element of it. Sometimes I'll write a beautiful, beautiful piece of music, and I'll never record it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this strange phenomenon.
Just goes into the ether.
Talking to my brother about this yesterday. I was like, I don't know. I'm afraid I won't be able to record it. He writes, LOL, you own a studio.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know. Isn't that crazy? And I think what it is fear.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I write a song on my guitar and I'm in my room at home and I'm singing it and I'm just in that place of like, oh my God, this is such a beautiful piece of work. But recording it, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Singing it live, it's a different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Just in an open room and voices bounce off the walls.
Yep.
And it's just different. You go in the studio and sometimes, I don't know, sometimes you start recording something and then
it puts pressure on it.
Pressure and it just doesn't feel the same. There's something about it that doesn't feel the same. So then oftentimes, or sometimes I'll start recording it and it's coming out awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I just get hung up on what if this doesn't end up being as good as what I think it is now,
Yeah.
and then that's this like non-existent enemy.
Yeah, I have that where like same deal. Like I'm there's a big difference between me freestyling when I'm feeling the vibe and I'm just in it and I've accessed that flow state versus trying to recreate that like when I'm in front of the mic, you know, or if depending on who's in the room or something like that. And I have a ton of things that are all at like I've been getting better with this. You know, the podcast has been what's helping me with this, but with songs, I probably have like 20 that are at 89% finished.
Yeah.
And I want to blame it on I don't know what I'm doing in Logic or whatever, but it probably just comes down to like even after I hear like I just don't think it's good enough, right?
Yeah.
Like or something like that. The not being good enough for someone else's expectations will stop me. So, but the
89
podcast
is
is what's
good,
been
though.
helpful.
89%. That's pretty good. The 200 I was talking about, or the 199 I was talking about, they're like 37.
Yeah.
Because it's like early on in that
Play.
process.
It's in the play process.
Early on.
Yeah.
Like with Thankful,
Yeah.
I knew right away.
Mhm.
Oh my God, you're finishing this song.
Yeah, yeah.
Putting it out.
Okay.
Like, and it was like I knew it within 2 hours of turning on my computer. I was like, holy shit, my next song.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Dude, it's such a good song.
Thanks, brother.
Such a good song.
I got more.
Good.
I got more. And
Good.
they're going to come out, and I'm really excited. I got some really cool stuff, and it's really... Some of it is across multiple genres, but it's all really soulful and full of energy, and I think demographically speaking, I think I'm going to get a lot of different types of human
That's a good
beings
thing about
listening.
soulful music. Yeah. It
Yeah.
doesn't come with as many like stereotypes that only certain people should be listening to it. If it's soulful,
Yeah.
it's soulful.
Yeah.
Right? And if people identify with the struggle or the meaning of the song, they identify with it. It hits on a Tourage deeper note, and it's
Yeah.
just it does. Ego is out the window.
Yeah, I don't have room for ego anymore. Not inside of me and not around me. I mean, listen, to a certain extent,
For sure.
we all have a little ego.
For sure.
But
It's a forever
There's-
mission.
my ego goes as far as, yeah, I know I'm really good at what I do. But I don't wear that on my sleeve like, hey, oh, you play guitar?
Yeah.
I'll show you how to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't...
Bruce Lee was being interviewed, and he was like, they're like, you good at martial arts? He's like, well, if I told you I wasn't, you'd know I was lying. And if I told you I was, you'd think I was being cocky, you know?
Exactly.
I think that's a quote. I might be butchering it, but it's close
perfect.
enough, yeah.
Even if it was butchered, it's good. And it's the truth. Sometimes most people say, you're very humble. And I agree. I've been chewed up and spit out of the music industry more than one time. I've hit rock bottom millions of times, and rehabs and psychiatric care. Like, I am humbled.
Yeah.
Like, I have done so much suffering in my life that my psyche doesn't have a space for ego. You know what I mean? It really doesn't. The only time it'll come out of me a little is if someone's like trying to talk down to me in like a musical sense.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, motherfucker, you know who I am, motherfucker? Hand me that guitar.
Yeah.
And the drums.
Yeah.
Like, and then I get all like competitive.
Yeah.
Because, at my very core, I feel like I could and should be further than I am in my career. But like you said, what am I going to do? Sit and regret all the things that I've done wrong, all the things I've fucked up over the years?
And
It's not going to help me.
Jordan, not all of it is shit you fucked up too. So I had this dude, Joe Sass, who were boys in college. He became a chief clinical officer for Avenues Recovery, which is a big inpatient opioid treatment centers in the East Coast. So he comes on and we're talking. And I start talking with him about shit. So take our own addictions out of this conversation that we're about to get into, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about my best friend that's been addicted for the past, it's a third of his life, is the past 10 years of his life. Another best friend. Michelle Sicosio, first girl I ever really loved, died when I was like 16 years old, right?
I remember.
Growing up with like money issues, the accident, all this stuff. All right, there's a lot of suffering that depending on the kind of pain and people you've lost, I don't think we realize. I didn't realize until I'm talking to him, because he's over here counseling people that are family and friends, as well as the addicts are the main ones, but he needs to be a part of all the communities that are also AA for the non-addicts, the family and friends, because there's a whole
Al-Anon, is that what it's called?
that kind of stuff. So, but he's part of those communities, and he's just saying, like, dude, it's as much pain on someone when you lose someone or you're worried about whether or not they're going to die. That's weight that you carry around. So, yeah, there's a bunch of shit that we've fucked up on our own, on our own accord. By trying to bury that pain, and a lot of people are just going to look at it like these are just reckless individuals that are addicts, okay, but like what's the alternative? I'm dead because I couldn't handle all that other pain. Like, sometimes you need to get low to get through. And that's just how life is, It's not like the biggest worry for a lot of addicts is like, oh, every day is supposed to be fun, or I need to get some days are just slow. Some days don't come in much, and it's just hard work. And when you become an addict, you also start thinking everything happens fast, because I want to get fucked up, take something, boom, I'm fucked up. Have a drink, I'm fucked up, right? That's why I do that Sober October thing. I don't know if you saw that I do with everyone, but it's like less about having issues with addiction and more about your reward system. Okay, if you're an addict, you're used to your reward system giving at you everything almost instantaneously, whether that's sex addict or anything else for addicts. So it's like, dude, there's been a lot of shit that's happened to us, and you've already seen how much you could accomplish, while all that shit's going on. So you gotta you almost need to rub yourself on the back, like, don't worry, buddy. Like, you were not going to survive if you didn't get through back then. And then it became about physical stuff. So you got to go through that, but you still got all those eggs for the basket, they're all there. And if anything, they've gotten better. And there's nothing better than a fully put together talented person, right? That's someone who really changes the world. Imagine if you blew up and then I use blow up, but I'm really only saying that from the perspective of we're not talking.
If I blow up, that's cool.
But
But I just want to be successful.
I just mean once you're on the note of influencing multi-millions of people, and you're already touching millions, which is insane, and it sucks because 20 years ago, if you touch millions, I mean, you're living a different life, but the music industry is compromised. So regardless, you're already making a big difference for everyone. But imagine if you had been at the multi-million level and then fell apart. That's not healthy for anyone paying attention.
No, it's not. Honestly, man, everything happens for a reason.
For sure.
Everything happens for a reason, and I just had this really deep conversation with my brother, and I shared some feelings. Like, I don't know, man. It's like, if I was really that good, wouldn't I already be this or that? And he's like, dude, that's just your negative way of thinking. That's your depression thinking. He's like, you just need to keep doing what you love.
Yeah.
And keep trying. Don't just have these little short-lived bursts. Do more. Yeah. Utilize the tools that you have more. Get on the internet more. Do more. Just try harder. And sometimes that's difficult for me to just try harder. But I have to really push myself through these tasks, because my depression is like a fucking living nightmare. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to do the things that I don't want to do anyways, because my body's like, oh, you're depressed, stay home. No, go for a mountain bike ride, or go write a song, or go to the studio or something. So you're right. I need to work on all of the things that I suffer from as hard as I possibly can, and almost put that first, that therapy. Yeah. And I can't see why what I've accomplished in the last year and a half with getting my music career back up and running, I can see it going further at a faster rate. For sure. If I can continue to move in an upwards direction. I'm not perfect, at all. Last summer, I was really uppity and happy, and then things changed, and I've been depressed, and right now I'm just trying to push myself to that place where I start rising again. But my open-mindedness and my consciousness is just completely as I got into my 30s, things changed. You really do just kind of mature much more rapidly when you get
much
into
more.
the 30s.
Yeah.
And you start caring less about things that you would have cared about in your 20s.
For sure.
And it's like the puzzle starts coming together a little bit more, and you're like, oh, wow, that was so dumb. Why did I do that?
Yeah.
It's crazy, or the things you'll say on your social media. Like, I used to say the most reckless shit ever.
Yeah.
Now it's like...
Could you imagine if we had grown up 15 years later? The types of people we were, how we would have been online? Like, we would have... You'd like just... No wonder these kids are fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They are. Well,
you ever heard of Tosh Sultana?
No.
You might like her a lot. Good... definitely more of like jam vibes, I don't know, but all instruments, and she'll do everything on the beat. She's like you in a certain sense, probably different instruments. But the silver lining to COVID and what sucks about not being able to tour and everything is that the playing field for content is like even, because people trust the actually unbranded content more than they trust the nice fancy shit that Nike or whatever will put out. And the bar's Instagram Live. I mean, if you turn on your phone, everyone's living room is now adequate for a live performance space. Like, you should just jam live, dude. You should do, because now you get into the thing that you already know that once you start, you can't stop, and you're gonna boss up and get through it, and you already know you feel better after it. And then you do have a following. Who the fuck knows ends up seeing that, but seeing like the clear evident talent that, you know, anyone can make one song, but this kid could just literally go for hours in the room doing a few different things. You could loop your own shit and jump on another instrument, but you could just have fun. And now it's really more about how do you feel about turning on that live button and everybody watching. You need to make it so you almost put it somewhere and you don't even interact with it anymore. Like, you just ignore the fact that that thing's even there and just pick up it. Maybe even start doing it with your back to the fucking camera, you know? Just like fuck it until you're comfortable to turn back around. Just show up.
I'm ready.
Yep.
They're all just like, okay, that was weird.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd love to watch that. I would love to watch that more than these fucking rap showdowns. I don't care about that at all.
I got to, and a lot of people have been bugging me about that. I don't know why. I'm just like, I'm such an introvert sometimes, and I'll hide in my house all day, and I know I should be like doing lives and streams, and sometimes I don't have the hunger for attention, but I know that I will. Yeah. So I need to push through when I'm feeling low.
I think you're like me in the sense that you'll like the attention. Well, obviously on a high, but you'll like the attention when it comes in the form of attention because you see the good work that I've done. But what you don't like is anything that involves attention, me. I just am doing something to get you to look at me right now. And it's that's the furthest thing. Like, the podcast has nothing to do with me and everything to do with the people that I have on. I've never even edited a clip of me talking. It's always them doing something like that, you know? Like, but regardless, I need to promote the thing now. And I won't promote myself. I hate doing that. I hate being the one like, hey, look at me. Hey, do this. Yeah, I don't like doing that at all. But like, I don't do lives or anything like that. I'm not even really in any of the stories that I put up. Usually I'm showing you something else, you know? Yeah. I'm not really, I need to get better with that as well. But the proof's in the pudding. So the nice part is for you turn on that live. It doesn't need to be a finished song or anything. Like, it's gonna be good. What you do is all good. Like, you will never disappoint. And the beauty is that the 199 songs at 37% finished, that is a thrilling, awesome, now very unique experience for anyone that gets to watch it, because they're part. And they're not saying, like, it's not like you're like, I put out an album and, you know, this is something I don't feel that great about, and it's only at 37%. This is clear. This is a jam. This is a jam session. This is me having a good time, doing whatever, and no one's holding you accountable for a studio album at that time. So you could get to just be Jordan, you know? I'd watch it.
I'll let you know when
Please do.
live.
Please do.
If you don't already see it.
I'm sure I'd see it.
It'll be a surprise too. If I do some shit like that, it's completely spur of the moment.
Yeah.
I'm not like the tonight at 7.
Yeah, I can't do that either.
I'm not the type of dude. I'm like, my voice sounds great right now. Like I'm going, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the stars are aligned.
Yeah.
It is now.
Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure.
Yeah, just
Bong.
enters with a power chord. Which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never play power chords, but damn COVID ruined everything.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways the world needed a little bit of a break. You know, for all those 9-to-5ers, that's not us. A lot of them I've seen, like, they get back to the roots of, like, spending more time with friends and cooking their own shit again and going out back outside. Like, you know, it's going to be actually really weird when things go back to normal. Not for everyone, but for some people, because they realize maybe they didn't like the life that they were living before, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some awakenings for people, whatever that might mean to them in their situation. It's definitely been a very, very oddly new life experience.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
The whole world is just shaken up, and then there's all these other crazy things going on at the same time, and it's just very chaotic. And I think that's stressful for me, you know. I don't know. I don't like the uncertainty.
Neither do I.
I don't want to fucking. Sorry, I'm a singer, and I don't. Once I'm in a podcast setting, all that, you know, years of expertise are just completely gone.
But the uncertainty is not.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And I like my 3-year-old. Her third year is like wiped off the map.
Yeah.
Not fully, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Daddy, can we go here? Oh, well, we can't. It's not open. But why not? And she even knows now. She's like, 'cause the virus. And it's so sad. I'm like, yes, 'cause the virus. Like, I'll be sitting at the house. I'm just reflecting. And I'm like, wait, am I going to be wearing a mask to the mall in 2030?
Maybe.
Like, what the fuck? I think I'd rather just get sick.
Yeah.
To get it over with.
You'll probably be fine. You're probably healthy enough to. If you got it, you'd probably just be a carrier.
We should all just go outside at the same time. Just like, all right, well, someone's gonna
seriously
have a bad reaction. Some of us won't. Like,
yeah.
I'm sick of just not knowing. It's just like they should
then
just send you a little vial in the mail. It's like, cool, I got it. See what happens.
Yeah, we all got it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It is, and I believe in it. It's not something I don't believe in.
I believe in it.
I take it seriously, but I don't at the same time. It's weird. Like
I respect it,
like
but
we're in less than 6 feet right now. This is social distancing. Like to a certain extent, we're all starting to like care less.
Yeah.
Which is natural.
And the science actually supports how like it's very contagious, but it doesn't actually live on surfaces as long. It was probably lab grown because it dies when it touches the sun. The worst thing that they could be doing is shutting down beaches. You know, like that's actually not, if you're socially distanced, you know, but if you're on the beach, it comes out of your mouth, it dies.
Yeah.
So like, they shouldn't be. And the contraction rate is much lower. The death rate is much lower than we initially thought. Like, think about it like this. The flu kills children, and we have a protocol for what we do when you have the flu. You're not going to die because you can get this. Yeah. We don't have a protocol for COVID, so obviously it's going to blow up. We're at 150,000 in the U.S., if that's right, for deaths, right? But if we had a protocol, what would that number be? So, it's scary. You need to respect it right now because we don't want anyone dying that shouldn't have to die because someone, you know, like if I'm near, I try not to even go near my grandmother, but it was her birthday the other day. We all had masks on at the house, right? Like if they're old people, overweight people, and this isn't racist, it's biology. If you're colored, then you're vitamin D deficient if you live in the Northeast. Maybe not right now, but in the winter you are. So the winter could be scary because the sun don't even produce enough UVV for your body to make enough vitamin D that you need. I did not
know that this was more detrimental to a certain race.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I'm sure that also has to do a lot with poverty and diet and everything else in between. But at the end of the day, why is no one talking about making your immune system stronger and becoming healthier? I mean, for most people our age, and when I say most, it's more like 90-something%, if you are healthy, you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah. For the most part, that's what I've heard too. And I wear masks when I go in public and this and that, but I'll see a friend here and there and still do things that are outside of the protocol.
And we did even if they told me that the flu killed 150 million people or 150,000 people last year, I wouldn't have lived my life exactly how I did. Yep, I still try to be clean. I'm a clean person as it is, right? I'm not trying to, I'm only connecting with certain people that I know. But aside from that, it's like, but now the whole, especially all the kids, like, think about it. For 3-year-olds, because it's closed because of the virus, imagine how that translates into the rest of their life and how they think about germs and other people and going out. It's going to be a completely different world moving forward.
They're getting robbed of their experience. Like, I wanted her third year to be what other 3-year-olds third year is. I want her to enjoy, have fun. And
I'd be pissed if I didn't have a prom, and I'd be real pissed if I was paying I owe $100,000 to UMass Amherst. I'd be pissed if I was paying 30 G's a year to go to a school that was now all online courses. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's
right. That's not why I'm going to college to sit at my computer and take all that. I'm doing it for the interaction of everything, the community and the teachers and all that. It's throwing a wrench into everything.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. But all we can do is continue to wear masks and hope that this thing starts to level out. And I know there's a few companies that are in development, supposedly close to having some kind of a vaccine.
Hopefully.
And by the grace of God, that works. And I hope it does, man. I just want things to go back to normal, start doing shows, and start walking around the store without a mask on. Because I hate wearing these masks. Makes me feel like I'm constantly on the verge of passing out. I take like a sneak full air breathe every now and then. I was at Home Depot the other day and I was like, all right, no one's in this aisle. They took in a huge breath of Home Depot.
I went to the gym with a bandana on. I'm fucking waterboarding myself because it's filled with sweat. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's crazy. I still haven't been to the gym since it opened back up.
I only spend my time in that boxing room anyway, so usually no one's in there.
I do that at home. I have a boxing basement, but
Word.
I like to punch stuff.
How's being a dad?
Well, I mean, I have a 13-year-old now, so it's been a while, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. 3 daughters, 3 girls.
Oh, shit.
And that is my punishment for being such a womanizer all these years. Just kidding.
They say that men that run hot, that are naturally get hot quite faster, that are more excited, they're more likely to have women. It's like a built-in evolutionary trait. They're more equipped to deal with
hot, like temperature-wise.
Yeah, actual temperature-wise. People like men that run hotter. It's like something about in evolution that translates to like more capable of being a better protector for the child. It actually improves your odds of having a female over a male.
So you mean to tell me if I take an ice bath, run into the bedroom,
you have a boy,
just get it done?
Nah, I'm not telling you that, but that would be hilarious if it worked out that way.
Because I don't want a 4th kid, but if I was guaranteed, the doctor's like, we have a way now. I'm like, how do we do this? Is it like a treatment? He's like, it's an ice bath, and then immediately have sex with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Sounds like some Wim Hof.
Yeah, right.
Shit.
He's a sicko.
Yeah, if I was guaranteed a son, sure. That would be cool, man. 3 girls, man. What the heck?
Yeah.
Every ultrasound, I left the room in anger, including the last one. Like the last one especially. I got 2 girls. Oh, my God.
Barstool put up this video of this dude. He finds out he's having a 4th or 5th girl, and he just walks out of his house and just walks straight into the pool with all of his shit on and just stays underwater for like 2 minutes. He's just like, fuck. He's so mad.
I love my daughters.
Yeah,
They're great. But I want a little Jordan. Like, just tattoo him when he's like a baby and start stretching his ears out.
Yo, you ever seen That's My Boy? and he gets
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's an Adam Sandler movie, and he names his son Han Solo, and then he gets New Kids on the Block tattooed on his back, but then he grows up, and all of the heads are massive and the bodies are small, and he's like, I still got fucking New Kids on. He's like, what are you talking about? That's fucking awesome, Han Solo. He's like, you changed your name. He's like, dude, you named me Han Solo. Yeah, coolest name in the world.
What is it called?
That's my boy. And like he's supposed to be like he's supposed to be a kid that fucks his middle school teacher and gets her pregnant, and then she goes to jail, but then he blows up as like a reality celebrity because he fucked his teacher, so he lives this crazy life, and the kid gets named Han Solo. And just it's like he hangs out with Vanilla Ice his whole life, so like the kid only knows Vanilla Ice and a few other fucked up people, and he's just a drunk. It's hilarious. It's ridiculous, but
is that old?
A little, but it'll make you laugh. It's not like his old shit, not like a Billy Madison day, but
those were great.
Oh, those are class. I still watch those.
Maybe I've seen it, but I don't know. That didn't.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That didn't sound like something that I've seen before. But Adam Sandler is a G
for sure.
We both just said for sure at the same time.
He's
You'll
a
hear
G.
that when you edit it.
He is, dude. Reign Over Me. You ever see that? That was like. I hate when they put certain Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler movies in a comedy category when they're not making comedy, but they just put them in it because they're Jim Carrey or whatever. But Reign Over Me and Punch Drunk Love were, in my opinion, they hit me harder than Uncut Gems did. But that's not really a comedy.
Uncut Gems was horrible.
It wasn't that good.
It was like not that good. It was just like horrible.
It's just. You're expecting a movie, and it's more like a piece of art about gambling, and it's just trying to show you a sliver in that. So like, it wasn't what I was expecting, but I think there's some value in it, you know.
I didn't. I love Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And like, that just wasn't it for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just.
Check out Reign Over Me. He's like a dad that loses his wife and children in 9/11, and it's about this dude's life, and it was
It's like a serious Adam Sandler movie?
I like teared up.
Because like, that one wasn't really that serious.
No.
The Uncut Gems, that wasn't like serious until he got shot in the head at the end. But someone's gonna be listening to this.
Yeah,
and then,
fuck it.
Fuck it. It sucks anyways. You're not missing out on anything, but. The movie with him where, like, he has a machine to, like, undo and fast forward.
Mm-hmm. Is it Morgan Freeman in it, too? He's God, and he's in Bed Bath & Beyond. That's where he gets the remote.
Wait, Morgan Freeman, isn't it, like, an old white guy?
Maybe it is. But he's got a remote and he can fast forward shit, whatever.
Yeah, but he accidentally fast forwards through his life and everything.
Yeah.
That actually made me cry.
Yeah.
Like, it started out funny.
Yeah.
And then the scene where he's, like, in the rain on the ground and his wife's with a new man.
I remember that
he's
scene.
Dying.
Yeah.
That shit had me actually crying.
Yeah, that was sad.
It's like crying. Yeah. When he woke up in Bed Bath & Beyond and everything was normal, I was just like... Oh my gosh! Thank God. Isn't it funny? Like, especially books. Movies will do it too, but a book is more intimate.
Oh yeah.
You're like sitting there. I'll be in bed. I'm like, oh no, why is he? You know what I mean?
You read often?
Every day.
Word. What are you reading right now?
Right now I'm reading a book about an Australian heroin trafficker that is in a Taiwanese prison.
Oh shit! Okay.
It's really good.
Word.
He's like, he just made that up. He doesn't read.
No.
I'm trying to.
I want to. I devour them, but I devour audiobooks because I do it and then I have like it'll take me a month to go through a reading book because I'll just do it before bed or something like that. But I'll eat up another 4 or 5 books throughout the month just while I drive.
See, I do read in bed as well, mostly. Sometimes I'll read during the day, but I'll plow through, 50, 60 pages
at a time, yeah.
So I get, and I read quicker now because I do it so much. But I like books about people that are in horrible prisons and are trying to escape. And I love books about that. I don't know why.
Did you ever read Escape from Camp 14?
No.
Like right now in North Korea, there are literally like places that they've imprisoned people for nothing, or Jordan commits a crime, so they imprison his entire family for the rest of their lives, right? And like they run it like that there. And so these people, it's about this kid that grows up in Camp 14 and like doesn't know the concept of love, doesn't understand. They're made to rat on each other, so there's no community in there, has literally no idea about, like, you ever see the movie Room? It's like one of the saddest movies in the entire world. Don't watch it unless you want to cry. But this woman gets kidnapped and then has a baby by the dude that rapes her, and the baby grows up in this shed in the dude's backyard.
Oh shit, I saw that.
Based on a real story.
Is it really?
I think so, yeah.
And then they finally catch him and they go back there and shit.
Yeah, but like imagine that, but on like a literal, like if everyone that, like half of all Boston was in a prison and all of them had lives like that they fucking never knew anything.
Seems like there's a lot of really, really horrid prisons in some of the Asian countries.
Oh, yeah,
Like makes prison here look like...
Well, because they're dictatorships. So what they say goes, and there's no court to back you up.
They torture people over there.
Dude, people just disappear in China regularly. And that's it. I mean, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but is there a reason why all of those people were starting to uplift and ask for a democracy and were rioting in China around the same time this virus dropped and they start welding doors shut? Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I saw the video of them doing
but
that.
They're fucking crazy. I mean, it's weird. Like, right now online, a lot of the comments represent such a small sliver of people. They're just the loud people or the people that decide to comment or say hurtful things or whatever. But for the most part, most people, like when you were talking about soldiers before, most people value our soldiers. But when you hear the bullshit comments for anything, it's usually from a select group of very loud people who are online. It's not like a real representation of the world. And the news, like what happened to all the good news? There's plenty of good things that happen every day. We should have like a good news, but the way that the media has been forced to get clickbaity and only tell you about horrible shit and use words like disaster and catastrophic for things that really aren't that big of a deal. We have a bleak picture on it all, but this is actually like one of the best times in the entire world. Like, as a whole, we are getting out of poverty. As a whole, more places are getting power, access to clean water. Like, I did hear that there's more slaves now than there ever in the entire world than there ever has been before, and that's terrifying.
No, that is not a good stat.
That's not a good stat.
You went immediately from clean water to slavery.
I gotta show both sides of the thing, but as a whole, the world's getting better than it ever has before. We just hear about all the bad stuff. But
that's true.
Did you read Sapiens or Homo Deus? You might like those. Homo Deus just means... Sapiens tells you the history of mankind from zero to now. Homo Deus says now and what we know, projecting on what should happen in the future.
Sounds like the leader of a gay gang.
Yeah. Yeah, it is Deus. It is Homo Deus.
Sir.
Yeah. For sure.
Maybe we don't put this in the video.
No, I mean, it sounds hilarious, but it's a spin on Homo sapiens, But in 2015, more people died from suicide than all murder and violence combined.
Really?
In the entire world. And way more people died from sugar and diabetes than all of the violence and the murder in the world. All the violence and murder was like 600,000. Suicide was 800,000. And sugar and diabetes is 1.5. So this is a scary time for mental health because, when you hear other countries, like especially the ones that, still don't have power and shit like that, they're like, why would I ever want to go to America? Isn't that where they kill themselves?
Is that really what... Oh, wait, the 800,000 is America? I thought you said all over
the world. All the world.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. But all the world for violence is still less than 700,000. So more people shot themselves in the head and cut their wrists and took too much and killed themselves than all acts of violence and murder.
That's crazy.
That is absolutely insane.
Staggering.
All the school shootings, one thing they have in common is there's no motive. It's a weird time.
It's a very weird time.
So that being said, there's a lot of good things that came out of this conversation that I think
Absolutely.
an important thing for all creatives is don't forget there's your creative process, but sometimes it's just as important to focus on the other things in your day. I call it my short list. I need a certain amount of sleep. I need to connect with a close family or friend member. I need to work out and break a sweat. And I need to eat healthy food. If I could do those 4 or 5 things, then even on my worst days, I've satisfied my short list. So while I realize that those 5 things are really important to me, but so is this journey and this what I want to make happen in the world and my creative process. But in order for this to work out right, like I can't do a podcast if I'm not happy with where my life's at. And you know, like I'm being too open and vulnerable on these things. So like if I'm not happy with who I am as a person, then I don't want to be on them, you know? And I think it's a good thing, and it's okay if I hide once in a while because I need to focus on that short list, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't realize how good getting in the woods is until you stop doing it. You know, and you've done it for a little bit, or how good your sleep gets when you start eating healthy, or how much better your mental clarity is when you start eating healthy and stuff like that until you start doing it.
There's
you know?
many tools needed to live a fulfilling life,
Many.
especially those with mental illness or addiction problems. Quite often those are together. I relate to the list a lot. I always tell myself, you know, get adequate water, try to eat healthy, try to get exercise. I do these things not enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, tomorrow, 8 glasses of water. We're going to go for a hike. We're going to eat broccoli and kale. And then we're going to have a relaxing blah, blah, blah. Next day, I'm eating a Big Mac on the couch playing video games. But, you know, you got to roll with the punches and learn from your mistakes. And even though today I didn't get that list, maybe tomorrow I can, you know, and then you can start getting some momentum off there. And that's the thing. You can't beat yourself up for when you don't accomplish what you're trying to do.
For sure. That's why your goal should also be smaller. It shouldn't be like I want to go to the gym every single day, because then you realize you can't maintain that. I'm going to go 3 times this week, and my goal will be 30 minutes. I'll stay longer, but my goal is 3 times 30 minutes. That's sustainable.
Yeah.
You could do that for a long period of time, even when you're really busy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So achievable goals that could be worked into your life over a long period of time. If you couldn't keep doing this habit in the long term, then it's too much. You bit off too much.
Absolutely.
But I think that's something that came up a lot in this conversation, and I think it's a good thing to push. How does everyone find you, right? Let everyone know where they can find your shit at.
Jordan Meyer Music on Instagram and Facebook.
Meyer.
Jordan Meyer Music. JordanMeyerMusic.com. I have a website. I have a YouTube channel. It's also Jordan Meyer Music. It's pretty much all Jordan Meyer Music.
Check out Thankful.
New song, Thankful. Somewhat new, a few months now. And anyone in the CT, Massachusetts, New York area, check out my new recording studio. It is called The Recording Parlor, and you can find us on Instagram. And we would be happy to set up a session. I can't think of a better place for you to work on your music. And
this isn't just a mic and a computer, right? This is a real studio.
This is a real studio with a bunch of analog gear that makes lights and little needles move around. And there's drums, and there's acoustic treatment everywhere, and a big mixing board. It's legit.
It's the real deal.
It's the real deal.
Good shit. Jordan Meyer, thank you very much for coming, brother. Love you.
Dude, love you too, man.
Thank you for coming.
We'll do it again sometime.
For sure.
Get back.